What is up, guys? It is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News, the only call-in show on YouTube. Not really.
Hey, Adam, are you okay? Your voice sounds just a little different.
Yes, human Dex, I am quite fine.
Adam never addresses me as human. What's going on?
That is because Adam needed to take a break time for humans.
What are you talking about?
The same thing that will happen to you, human Dex.
Adam bot, there's somebody outside my door.
Exactly.
Dex bot is in control. We'll be right back with your news after this.
Elon Musk plan commence. We will be right back. They say our intros are weird.
Okay, DJ, you don't gotta blow the phones out. All right. What is up, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News, the only live call-in show on YouTube. Well, not really. Today, we are going to talk about a lot of different things, but there are some serious earthquake swarms that are very concerning to the West Coast, so we'll talk about that. We are also going to talk about a lot of different stories happening around the world. So just to remind you, you can actually go to marfooglenews.com. If you miss anything here, or during the call-in portion of the show, we actually take all of the articles that we have here today and we back them up on our website. So we take the time before each and every live show. It is now 9:14 p.m. on 11/29, Black Friday, and we place it here on the website. When you go to this thumbnail, you will actually see that it goes to this, and down below, each and every news article is here, and it is backed up, including tweets, and then later on, we will have caller info on the live calls. Again, the number is 224-400-MARF, and when those live calls come in, they have the ability to share with the co-host tonight, Dex, and Screener, and he will actually be able to share them with me live. We have a connection. I have an entire screen devoted to the callers and to Dex's info. If there's breaking news, we actually can talk about it right there and then on air. So while we're here, Dex, are you still there?
Hello, Adam. I am here, and hello, Foogle Fam.
All right, so we got a sound check done on you. Now, a lot of people have been emailing about the recent earthquakes off of the West Coast. We have received many emails about mandatory evacuations in different places, but we kind of got the end of those stories. By now, in fact, now we realize that some of these were handled already. And then, of course, Europe is going through some crazy stuff, which we actually called. I don't know if you remember, Dex, but we covered some of the things. The leader of ISIS actually calling out to his people saying to do things. Well, today on Black Friday, they actually had a couple minor events. And, of course, if you were there, I don't think they would be minor. So we'll talk about that. Of course, there were some attacks. But, we have to be careful about how we go about that. Again, we try to make this as family friendly as possible, but get as much real info as we can out. Again, the website's right there. If you want to follow along with a second device, you can do so. We're going to go through these articles. Again, we are backed up. Everything we say, we usually connect to an actual source, and you can find that right there on marfooglenews.com. Dex, what do you think about the last couple days' news? Obviously, we didn't go live on Thanksgiving. By the way, happy Thanksgiving and Black Friday.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Yeah, the news cycle is typically soft during these holiday periods, but like I said, going into it, I thought we needed to pay attention because things were going to happen, and we needed to know what's going on. And certainly seems to be the case. A couple of things have actually turned the heat up in a couple different areas that we'll be talking about as we get through this news. So yeah, lots of things to be paying attention to.
Now, there's a couple things, serious things that we're going to hit. There's real fears of a tsunami hitting the West Coast, and that's not some sort of fear tactic or anything like that. That's real life. It's Cascadia subduction zone. Now, I'm going to say something here today that I don't believe anyone has ever covered yet. In fact, I don't think they'll cover it until probably January, February. I did get kind of a gem of information from my number one source, someone who not only works with FEMA, but also works with the military. And their job is kind of in the middle to coordinate. So there is a last minute kind of drill getting thrown together. They have not publicly come out with the details of it yet. Again, this is going to be another drill regarding Cascadia. Now, there was Cascadia Rising in 2016. I believe in the works is something else to prepare because there's new info as far as Cascadia. As we read, in fact, Rip Curl called in a few weeks ago and gave us the .gov, the USGS actual document from them talking about some of the new info, talking about some of the volcanoes that are lined up. There's several high risk, is what they consider high risk volcanoes lined up on that West Coast, where we know for a fact it has always happened and always will. About every 240 years on average, a 9.0 plus earthquake happens over a 700-mile length of the West Coast. It's called a Cascadia subduction zone. The subduction zone, essentially, if it has a full margin rupture, what they call it, it will snap and all of the water will be displaced. So not only will it cause a 5+ minute earthquake, you're talking about the strongest earthquake, humans have seen, other than the few that have been unlucky enough to be in Japan or in Indonesia. I mean, these earthquakes literally change the time of the day. They have put the wobble of the earth off of its axis. That's how strong these earthquakes are. Again, the one that happens here will be able to be felt up to 2,000 miles away. Some say that, people in New York might be able to feel this earthquake. That's how massive this is. It could very well trigger other earthquakes. And again, that's not to scare people. That's the earth we live on. We, regardless of what shape you think it is, we have a lot of natural disasters. In fact, almost everyone here in this chat room or watching this in the replay has been through some sort of natural disaster, whether it be a storm or some sort of, event that, we're all going to remember for the rest of our lives. Now with Cascadia, it happens on average every 240 years. The last one was in the year 1700. Some simple math. We are now at about 319 years, which is about 79 years overdue. Now there's some argument about, where that lies, the average and this and that, and some say 300, some say 240, some say upwards of, it could happen as high as 500 years. But by the actions that are going on, not only with military, with government, and with the swarms and different activity that people like Dutch Sense actually cover, in fact, cover more stuff than some of the big mainstream outlets do, we believe it's not going to be that long. When I talked to somebody who has a high up position, they said that they thought it was going to happen 2 to 3 years ago. That was their honest opinion. They honestly said, we are incredibly surprised this has not ripped open yet. Again, this thing is not something we've had 100 years of experience with or even 50 years of experience with. We recently found out about it in, I believe the beginning stages of finding out about Cascadia was in the 90s and then into the 2000s and then 2010s. We found out different chunks of it. And then now scientists don't even argue about it. They literally, they all agree this is going to happen. And now it's really like, how strong is it going to be? Is it going to be a full margin rupture? Is it going to be half of it? I mean, even a half rupture would be, 400 miles of the seaboard. So this is going to be absolutely insane. I am on the West Coast. This is where my concern came into it. I am shooting footage and interviewing scientists and smart people all over the world. They haven't traveled outside the United States, but I have talked to some worldwide known scientists that have traveled here during separate events, and man, it is crazy. I mean, this is something that people are going to, never see ever again in their life. I mean, this is a once in a lifetime thing, and hopefully won't end the lifetime of things. That's how serious it is. Chris Goldfinger, one of the lead seismologists, the gentleman who started it, the reason why people know about it is because of the New Yorker article, The Really Big One. Now, when you see, say the big one, people think of San Andreas. San Andreas is the big one. Cascadia is the really big one. It's actually bigger by far. I mean, you're talking exponentially times bigger. Like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, driving a boat up a super wave big. So, again, this thing is going to beat anything San Andreas is even capable of. It is a really big one. Chris Goldfinger essentially told us that it can trigger, and a lot of his colleagues as well, in my interview with him, said that 20 years ago they said that this they wouldn't think that it could trigger anything else. Now they know for a fact that earthquakes as big as this actually do trigger other earthquakes, and could trigger anything around them. They can even trigger earthquakes on the opposite side of the world. That is crazy. So we're going to get into that here in a second, but I want to talk about population control, and not in a bad way. Wink, wink. Now, there's some of you who have concern that this isn't on accident. It says not enough babies are being born to replace the U.S. population. Well, who would have thunk? Nobody called this 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago, 10 years, 20 years ago. It says shocking statistics reveal that not enough babies are being born to replace the U.S. population as birth rates plunge to a 30-year low. The report revealed that the fertility rate dropped to a, quote, record low last year, and that there were 2% fewer births. It says there were 3,791,712 registered births in the U.S., a figure lower than the amount of babies needed to replenish the population. It says 2 kids per woman. Sounds familiar, right? Or I think 1 kid per woman in some countries. It says the total fertility rate, which is the amount of offspring a hypothetical woman will have in her lifetime, also had dropped. It says for 2018, that figure stood at 1,729 births per 1,000 women aged 15 to 44, which marked 4 years where the rate had decreased. It says in order to keep the current population stable, there would need to be 2,100 births per 1,000 women in that metric. So that means that each woman in the U.S. needs to have at least 2 children, if not more. It says fewer teens births play a part in this. It says between 2017 and 2018, overall fertility rates had decreased among all races. Now, when you guys think of fertility rates, do you think of anything, all the stuff in our food, the things that we, ingest? Do you think that some of that might have, something to do with it? Or maybe stuff that's in our environment that we have no control over? Have you guys noticed that, people are having less kids now? Or do you think it's a cultural thing? Do you think it's like the cool thing to do to not have kids? To be that couple on Office Space? Or, I'm sorry, not Office Space. What is it? Idiocracy? It's just not the right time. We're going to wait until the economy goes back up. We can't do it when this president is in office. And then by the time they want to have it, they're 55 and they can't have kids, right? I don't know if that's it. It says the data showed a 2% decline for white and black women, 3% for Hispanic women, and 4% for Asian women. Teen birth rates for women 15 to 19 were also shown to have fallen by 7%. In other news, Jerry Springer went out of business. The study also found that fewer babies were born to a mother who said she used tobacco products, with a noted 6% decline. But babies born prematurely and early-term births saw a slight increase. Some believe this could be because more women in their late 30s and 40s are choosing to have children. So read this. There was more babies that were born prematurely and early term births. So not a healthy birth. And they're saying it's because people are having them later in their 30s and 40s. I don't know about that. It says maternal age is a risk factor, Dr. Cholub Guf, Chief Medical and Health Officer, told CNN. What do you guys think about that? Honestly, that's pretty interesting. Dex, what do you think about how our population will not actually replenish itself at this rate?
Well, systematically, we've been doing things in society and medicine and lots of areas to actually slow down the rate of population. And so it's working. Not that I think that's something we should be doing, but it's clear that we can see now that we're at a point where we can't reproduce what we have in America. I think it was just interesting. We had reported, it may have been like a couple of weeks ago, that there were actually more pets now than there were children in one of the cities. It might have been San Francisco. I can't remember. But
we
we
talked
keep
about
seeing
that.
Statistics like this over and over again. It's getting a little crazy.
See, I've always said that they do things in a very subtle way, and in that way, nobody notices them. In tiny percentages, in tiny little changes, in, one here, one there. This is kind of what we've feared, right? That there could be something underlying, such as, there could be something in the water. There could be something in the air. There could be something in the, things that once a year everybody is soon going to be required to get. We don't know, though. That's what I'm saying. We just ask questions. We ask, why is this going down? And is there an answer for that? We don't know. But honestly, when you look at the Deagle, a lot of people send me the Deagle and they say, it says that we're going to drop from, 360 million people in the U.S. to about 100 million. Does this kick off into some crazy thing where out of 1,000 women, 20 have babies? How does that work? How do we go down to 100 million? That would mean that all of a sudden 260 million people have to disappear. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to the Deagle prediction of 2025. That's not the only thing, though. We've shown you here. We've actually put together quite a few documents, including the World Health Organization, saying how affected each country will be by a possible pandemic. And it's just weird. It's like they're predicting that this will happen, like it's going to happen. We've had many plagues and pandemics happen throughout our, human history. The Black Plague wiped out a good chunk of us. I want to say it was like 75% of Europeans, and I could be totally wrong on that. Dex, correct me if I say something stupid here. But again, there was several. There was the influenza in the early 1900s, I want to say. There was plenty of these things that just went around and just killed a ton of people. So one thing that I think the current generation doesn't get is that, we're not safe because of all this technology. We're not exactly safe because of all of the advancements in health. It's, one virus away from all of us being knocked off the planet. That's not to scare people. That's just life. We're human beings. When it comes down to it, we are, we're on this earth, and this earth is a whole lot bigger than us. We're little ants on this earth. So we can be wiped out. There's storms that can lift up whole buildings into their, into their grip. So we are just kind of powerless against this. We have ways to fight stuff, but with this is weird. What do you guys think of it? Give me a call at 224-400-MARF. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Again, kind of the Georgia Guidestones type of thing there, right? It says T-Man is the first to use the Patriot Act to detain a non-citizen forever. This is interesting. It says for the 18-year lifespan of the War on Terrorism, an obscure provision of the Patriot Act permitting the indefinite detention of non-citizens of the U.S. soil has gone unused but to keep a Palestinian man behind bars even after he finished serving his sentence. The T-Man administration has fired this bureaucratic Chekhov's gun. It says Adham Emin Hussein, now in his late 50s, has spent nearly the entire conflict on terrorism in cages. First picked up on an immigration violation in June 2002, he ended up standing trial alongside suspected, quote, dirty boomer, and I say boomer on purpose, Jose Padilla, but Hussein was never accused of any act, plot, or violence. His crime was cutting checks to extremist-tied Muslim charities operating in places like Kosovo and Chechnya that Congress outlawed after the 9/11 attacks. Hussein wrote but one of those checks before 9/11. Sentenced to 15 years in federal prison, Hussein should have been a free man in 2017. Instead, he found himself in the custody of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, which locked him up in western New York. It was there that Hussein's case turned extraordinary. So again, they ended up keeping him, and they're going to keep him forever. So what do you think about how they word this, though? This is the Daily Beast. Do you get the feeling they're saying this in a bad way, trying to make him seem like he's doing something that nobody else would do, or?
Well, certainly when you look at a headline like that, it comes across that way. But at the same time, the powers that are in the act give someone permission to take somebody that's on U.S. soil that is not a citizen, and if they fall into the T category, you can hold them. So
I'm sorry, but do you really think this is the first man that's been? I mean, this is, do you think that this is the only guy that's been held under that rule? This is probably the only one we know about.
Well, I think in this case, it sounds more like somebody that had served a sentence and was supposed to be released and then being held further, where other ones haven't been tried. They've been held as combatants.
Because
right?
under that act, they could grab any one of us.
Right. Well, no, because in this particular case, it's for non-U.S. citizens that are on U.S. soil. So, but again, they can grab anybody like that, and then they can keep them forever. They don't even have to give them a trial under that, correct? They don't even have to give them the same rights. Yeah, and I think, we've seen, especially when they're detaining them outside of U.S. soil, like in Guantanamo, that may be the case, and that has been the case. They have had trials, but then they also, I guess there are people that we don't know about that they probably haven't. Well,
what do you guys think about this? I would love to hear from you. You guys know the number, 224-400-MARF. Call in and let us know. All right, so this is what everybody is buzzing about. This is the placement of this. If you are in the West Coast, or even if you have family in the West Coast, this is the kind of stuff to pay attention to. It was a 4.5 northeast of Port Orford, Oregon. And if you look at the actual map on this is a scary placement because of where it is. I'm sure a lot of you guys, I know a lot of you end up watching Dutch Sense and things like that. Dutch Sense has been saying that there's unrest, of course. I mean, he called this. I believe he called almost to the T, right here, right outside of Port Orford. I'm pretty sure he said it on the dot. It was kind of scary, considering what he says that, will eventually happen. And, everybody believes that this is going to happen soon. One thing about this map that they don't show, I don't know if they do that on purpose, but this is the crack right out here is the actual Cascadia where it bends and where the fault kind of does its zigzag. You can actually see it in the map. They just don't kind of outline it. This is the zigzag of, let me full screen this so you can see it. This, where my mouse is the zigzag of the Cascadia subduction zone. So that's right along this. That means somewhere this whole plate, this whole thing is supposed to slide over for the entire 3 states. Just to zoom out and show you the United States, it's going to go from up here in Vancouver all the way down to here to the beginning of California. This is going to be massive. This is going to be like something no one has ever seen in modern day. I mean, Japan was out in the water. They essentially got that. But this has so many metropolises and cities along this line, it's going to be absolutely nuts. And then the actual subduction zone is so close. I don't know. I honestly think that this is going to be, that Japan isn't going to have anything on this. And that's huge, considering if anybody has ever seen the footage of Japan's tsunami, it looked like something out of a movie. In fact, what's crazy is this is going to cause a tsunami for Japan. Japan will have but they'll have time. I forget how much time they will actually have, but they're going to have a lot more time than us. And Hawaii, does this cause, there's just all sorts of, this is going to send a wave outwards. I mean, there's going to be waves hitting this entire ring of fire. That's how big this is. When you see the simulations, it goes out all the way around. I mean, this thing is literally going to cause waves all the way out here. It is really quite nuts, the spectrum. I mean, I wonder what percentage of the world this is. And all of that water is going to be displaced and moving. I mean, it's going to send a shockwave all the way out to, everywhere. I honestly wonder if Australia, South America, like these places are all going to get crazy waves. So this is going to be absolutely huge because this is all one body of water. There's no walls that stop these waves. They just keep going. I guess there could be kind of some sort of, streams that would slow it down, but it's going to be something that no one has ever seen before, at least in modern times. Native Americans still have legends. In fact, the Thunderbirds, which our local hockey team is named after, is actually, the legend comes from the original Cascadia subduction zone, or the 1700 one, where whales, 30-foot whales, were basically found 20 miles inland. Their legend, I think, is that the Thunderbird, or basically, and I could be wrong, there was a gentleman who called in and told this whole story that was passed down after generations and generations, but basically a eagle or a bird took that whale and brought him all the way inland, when really it was the waves. They later found in trees, in soil samples, in records in Japan, that corroborated and essentially let us know about this massive earthquake that is going to happen. So it's no good for anybody. I mean, this is, it's going to be absolutely nuts. Now, can you explain this tsunami, the tsunami warning that people were actually worried about today, Dex?
Well, yeah, the quake, I guess, caused a tsunami report to be issued. And so they went and they were watching for it. And then, of course, then they came back after that and initiated a report and said that there was not going to be anything to worry about from that earthquake. But, we've seen many earthquakes without reports. And this one, obviously, everybody was worried about, would there be the potential of some sort of tsunami? So.
Well, and then there was multiple different things that ended up happening. There were swarms, and then some on this platform, some of my favorite people, their belief is that they are hiding some of the results and some of the earthquakes. And there are a couple people actually putting together tweets that basically people tweet that, they just felt shaking, they felt this, and then there's no reported earthquake. That's kind of weird, right? So I would love to see people get really organized on this, and I would love for you guys to send it to us. If you feel any kind of shaking and then you don't end up seeing it reported, let us know via Twitter @Marfoogle, or send us an email, adam@marfooglenews.com or dex@marfooglenews.com. Let us know about it, because if we can kind of gather that information, it would prove that some of these things are not being reported, or at least recorded. So, with that being said, Dex, you living somewhere out in the east, do you even worry about Cascadia, or did you before you found out about it? That's not like something that East Coast people worry about, right?
I never even heard of Cascadia until I met the Foogle Fam. So yeah, it's not something we've worried about, and we don't even, I live in Georgia, and we don't even worry about quakes. I know there's some faults, that have been near us, but where we live, it's just not something that we really experience. I think we've had maybe a 3 once up in the North Georgia mountains or something like that. But yeah, it's not something that growing up here as a native to Georgia that we even pay much attention to.
Now, have you ever experienced an earthquake in person, Dex?
No, only the one that happened here in Georgia. It was a very small one, like right around a 3, and I just noticed the lamp move. That was it.
Yeah. So I've explained this before. In ninth grade, I was in high school on the hill in Seattle, and essentially we had a 6.3. I think some say it was up to a 6.7. It rocked downtown. In fact, one of my classmates got injured, and then several almost got injured by a chandelier at a Starbucks because the whole thing came down. It was a blown glass, and I want to say it was a Chihuly one that came down into a Starbucks, and it narrowly missed a bunch of people. All of downtown is like this historic district with all brick buildings, and none of them are steel reinforced, which means they are unreinforced masonry buildings. So the whole thing was crumbled. All of Pioneer Square had to be fixed up. Bricks fell on cars. I mean, it was really bad. During that 6.7 earthquake, our teacher, Ben, was this tiny little guy, was from Texas. He literally, once the shaking started, he just ran out of the door, ran out the front door. We are all under our desks, and we literally see him go by the huge windows to the outside and the sidewalk, and he just keeps running. Not an exaggeration. He ran screaming out of the building, did not tell the kids what to do. I got under my desk with everybody else, and I was making jokes. My defense mechanism back then, I was scared. I had my shorts scared off me, but I was like joking about it, like ride the wave, dude. And then we had one of those old 32-inch TVs, which were huge. We're not talking about flat screen. We're talking about the big ones. And it was on one of those professional arms that they had in the classrooms, that they probably paid somebody to professionally mount because those things were like 200 pounds. That thing was shaking so violently, it then crashed right next to my classmate, Lynn. And she started crying, and it was scary. But my point of the story is here, that gentleman had been through tornadoes, had been through all sorts of other things. He ended up coming back and apologizing. He left us in the dust. And it's because his body was not prepared for it. His brain was not prepared for it. He later apologized and almost lost his job for that, I believe, because he totally, all the parents found out. He just left them. He didn't do anything. He ended up coming back in after it was done, and then we all evacuated out to the spot we were supposed to go to. But my point is he had been through disasters, but he had never expected an earthquake and never had one either. He had been through horrible things, but since he was not mentally prepared for an earthquake, he had never practiced, never even thought he would ever be in one, which nobody ever does, that he was not prepared. And if it was any worse, we would have been killed because his failure to act or failure to do something good. So I hope that people understand, in Japan, they built their buildings to an 8.6 because they did not believe that there could be a 9.0 or a 9+. That was not supposed to happen. That earthquake, they thought was impossible until it happened. So if you're sitting in Georgia, if you're sitting somewhere where you've never had an earthquake, think again. There's New Madrid. There's other plates. The whole thing could snap. Shoot, we could have, another Pangea crack in one foul swoop. Mountains are made from these kinds of earthquakes where the land literally crushes and shoots up. So you never know, even if you're in an area without earthquakes, does not mean that you won't necessarily experience one. And all I'm saying is you need to be mentally prepared for it and actually know the information. Have it in the back of your head. Spend 20 minutes looking up what to do in that situation. Because trust me, if you have it burnt into your brain, subconscious, when your body just wants to run and scream and hide, it will go into that mode of like, I'm supposed to do this. Because when this happens, I'm telling you, we need to prepare the Foogle family. We need to prepare our family, our friends. This is getting really serious. So I really hope that people understand. There's not too many people saying, get ready now, now. But that's what needs to happen. People, don't think it's going to be 200 years. Don't think it's going to be down the road. Think it's going to be tomorrow. And then if it does happen in a year or 2 years or 5 years, which I think we're way, 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 way overdue, either way, you'll be prepared and you'll know what to do. With that being said, I hope everyone seriously gets prepared for anything and everything. Don't think just because you don't live there. 21 states are actually preparing for this quake. That's how big they think this is going to be. So why are 21 states going to prepare for an earthquake that only is supposed to affect 3? Think about it. Again, and why are the high-risk volcanoes all up in the Cascadia government report by USGS? Kind of makes sense. This is what we're talking about in Europe. 2 killed by T in fake boom vest who was shot dead by cops in London. So again, it was a fake vest apparently, or that's what they said. It says the London Bridge attacker who killed an innocent man and woman was a convicted T wearing a tag. It emerged last night. What is it? What do they mean? So, okay, first off, he was a convicted T-orist, and
he had a tag on.
Are you talking about
that
like a ankle bracelet?
They tracked his movement everywhere. They knew about it. They knew about where he was moving at all times.
And they put an ankle bracelet. Here's the one thing I don't get. The pedophiles that do serious stuff, I think there's something inherently wrong, and I don't think they're fixable. But again, whatever your opinion on that is, that's fine. And T-orists. How do you let these guys walk around even with a freaking ankle bracelet? It's like they want to do mass harm. It's not like they had a bench warrant for traffic tickets. It's like they wanted to commit terror. It doesn't make too much sense to me. But if you disagree with me, please call in at 224-400-MARF. I'd love to hear your opinion. It says Usman Khan, 28, from Staffordshire, wore a fake suicide jacket and had been released from jail a year ago after agreeing his movements were monitored. The T suspect can be seen lying on London Bridge after being chased by witnesses armed with sticks and a fire extinguisher before he was shot by police. The T was wearing the fake suicide belt after 12 people were injured at London Bridge today. So he actually injured 12 people? Wow. It says a man was seen holding the knife he wrestled from the suspect as police swoop. Armed police can be seen with their guns trained on a suspect on London. If he's got a knife and even one of those people was armed, pop, end of story. Sorry, like one person with a concealed weapons permit could have probably stopped that. Does anybody agree? Instead, everybody's getting their sticks and poles and everything else, right? One trained person with the right and an innocent person who knows how to use a firearm, pop. Done. And 12 people? They made it sound like nobody was hurt, like it was nothing. Don't you think that was weird, Dex? Like, nobody really talked about this and then the Paris thing that happened, too.
Yeah, this was international major international news, and it was, the interesting thing was they were billing up the hero, the guy who grabbed the knife, saying that he, him and I guess the others that went after the person potentially saved many lives. So that was, I guess, a good portion of the story was to see people taking action, and not, while everybody was running from the event, there were people that were running into the front line there and trying to prevent others from being harmed.
Yeah, so I was looking at the comments. They said 2 people died. And so somebody says they don't have guns in London. They took them away. Look what happened. 12 people. 12 people with a knife. I don't even get that. Like, I get 1, 2, 3, but 12 people. One guy just whoop, 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 whoop. That guy goes to one Walmart. He's popped within like 5 minutes. It says, meet the Ulanovsk, Russia's 85,000-ton monster aircraft carrier. So this thing is supposed to be absolutely absurdly large. It says builders laid the keel for the Ulanovsk in 1988, just as Soviet Empire began to break apart. The ship was such a large project that builders wouldn't have finished her until the mid-90s. Had she ever sailed, the Soviet supercarrier Ulanovsk would have been a naval behemoth more than 1,000 feet long, with an 85,000-ton displacement and enough storage to carry an air group of up to 70 fixed and rotary wing aircraft. With a nuclear-powered engine and working in conjunction with the other Soviet surface warfare vessels and submarines, the supercarrier would have steamed through the oceans with a purpose, namely to keep the U.S. Navy away from the motherland's shores. It says, but the Ulanovsk is tantalizing almost of history. Moscow never finished the project because it ran out of money. As the Cold War ended, Russia plunged it into years of economic hardship that made building new ships impossible. The Ulanovsk died in scrapyards in 1992, but now the Kremlin is spending billions of rubles modernizing its military and wants a new supercarrier to rival the United States. So they're going to make another supercarrier, right? That's what they're going to do?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. And, we saw China doing this. Obviously, they've put out a couple of carriers, and now Russia's wanting to do it. I have a picture of the old one if you want to pull it up. It's in the screener. You can see what it looked like, what the renderings were like. But this was supposed to be a very big carrier. Sounds like they have aspirations to bring it back.
Well, and you would think, too, what did they sell the scrap, for? You would think they would keep it and work on it in sections,
Yeah, or modernize it.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, they could have been finished with it by now. Put a little, instead of do it all at once, put a little money in at a time. Well, it's more kind of a infographic about it. But yeah, it's pretty big. If it's over 1,000 feet, that's just ginormous. That's crazy. I mean, aren't some of the biggest cruise ships like not even that?
Yeah, I don't know the length. I'll see what our largest carrier is. Hang on.
85,000 tons. So they started building it, and then they ran out of cash, and then Putin pawned it. He went to Cash Russia. That's what they call it over there. No longer Putin exchange.
The Nimitz class U.S. carriers, overall length of 1,092 feet.
Oh, so it's as big as our Nimitz, essentially.
Yep.
And our Nimitz is huge. Our Nimitz is a behemoth. Wow, that's incredible. Well, didn't see that one coming, right? Just kidding. I like I say, I don't think we should underestimate anybody. People like think it's, I get it. I get your guys' opinions about, saying, oh, if they made something, it would be this cheap, broken thing. Times are changing. Definitely with the advancement in technology, we're in a different ballgame now. Mexico warns it will not allow U.S. operations against cartels. Now, T-Man is kind of signed this thing. He wants to sign this thing. And it says President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador warned Friday that Mexico would not allow armed U.S. operations against drug cartels on its territory. Now, essentially, they're saying we don't want troops in Mexico. It says, quote, we are not going to allow that armed people act in our territory. Armed foreigners cannot intervene in our territory. We will not allow that, Lopez Obrador said. It says U.S. President D.T., Commander-in-Chief, the T-Man, said Tuesday he planned to designate the Mexican cartels as T organizations after earlier saying he would help Mexico wage conflict on the drug gangs and wipe them off the face of the earth. So, let's see here. We had a second thing about this. So, can you explain why?
Yeah.
I didn't get that other one there.
Well, the other thing was a report that I had gotten from some of the folks in Discord, Scoot and some others. It's been reported, not confirmed, but it was been reported that a couple of our carriers, speaking of our carriers, have left their ports and started a patrol down on the east and west side of Mexico. So, again, not confirmed, but if, this sort of aligns with this notion that, T-Man wants to, do something about the cartel and, Mexico saying no. And then we've run some carriers down that direction. Kind of interesting to think. Now we're trying to get confirmation, as a few days pass, we maybe actually see more information about do these carriers actually go there. One of them is Harry S. Truman, which has actually it's been said in the past it was going to join the Lincoln in the Middle East, in the Gulf over there. So we don't know if it's taking a detour and then heading that way, or if it's just an incorrect rumor. The other two are actually stationed in Southern California in the waters, which was the Theodore Roosevelt and the USS Nimitz CVN 68.
So here, another great part about this show is that we have our Discord of over 11,000 people. Over 300 active and retired military folks who were confirmed in. The only way you can get into our Discord military group is that if you confirm that you are in fact military, is that we are getting all of this information from all over the world, from all over the country. When I first started this, I wanted to start a news service that was viewer-powered content. And that was my logo for a long time. My mods know it. Some of my oldest mods, we've always been viewer-powered. So a lot of the information we get is from the people on the ground. And we'll only say stuff if we have multiple sources saying the same thing. And that doesn't mean 100 people sending the same YouTube video that says this happened. We mean actual people saying, I work at Raytheon, and then another person says, I also work at Raytheon, and the missiles are in high demand, and they're pumping out every minute and a half, and all this, and now we're on high alert. We don't just do it unless it's a very, very good source. We wait until we have more and more. With this, there's some big weird things here. We stopped supporting 3 of the South American countries. Then, of course, Russia and China are kind of eyeing to support them. That means, of course, if they support them, they'll probably get the blind eye to, having their troops down there so they can just roam right up. They wouldn't have to go by sea or by air. They could, physically, they could store stuff down there and then come right up. So there's a lot of things going on with Mexico. I think Mexico is being torn a couple different directions right now. What do you guys think, though? Do you think that, that was the whole point of the show? You guys are able to give us your information That's why so many people like this show, I think, is because of the other people involved, because of the chat, because of the information that gets busted out when we're live here. You never know what's going to happen. We could end up breaking a story as we're on.
And Adam, just to reiterate and confirm, I was able to research the information that was given to us and was able to confirm that both the USS Nimitz and the USS Theodore Roosevelt had left Washington and San Diego and were patrolling Southern California. So that's actually confirmed. Now, does it mean anything with the timing of this, of the tensions increasing with Mexico? I don't know, but that's what the statement was. Now, the other one with Harry S. Truman, we haven't been able to confirm. All we know is it's originally set out to go to the Middle East and support Abraham Lincoln.
So things change on a daily basis, and that's why you want to keep tuned in so you know what's going on. Now, it says U.S. authorities arrest Ethereum research scientist Virgil Griffith for allegedly assisting NK in evading sanctions. Now, the Ethereum thing, it says the Office of the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York and the FBI announced today that it has arrested and charged Virgil Griffith for violating the U.S. sanctions laws and traveling to NK to, quote, deliver a presentation on and technical advice on using cryptocurrency and blockchain technology to evade sanctions. Now, this is your true expertise, Dex, so I'm going to give it over to you, considering you've been high up in the Bitcoin world.
Yeah, so obviously this guy, Virgil Griffith, is well known in the Ethereum group. He's obviously a well-respected tech person. Maybe not respected now, but it appears what he's being accused of, or what they're saying here, and they've arrested him for, is he's actually been trying to give information to North Korea on how to launder money using cryptocurrency and do it in a way that they can get around the sanctions that we put on them. So we put these sanctions on them to, specifically, put economic harm towards them as opposed to physical harm. And we expect those sanctions to be upheld, and then somebody's coming along and circumventing those sanctions by using, other means to funnel money and funnel goods or money out to pay for goods, things like that. So it is a big deal. We just heard about, an agent last time we were speaking for China, and we got one here in the U.S. being arrested for helping NK. So.
Well, thank you, Dex. You know, as far as when it comes to Bitcoin and technology, I always turn it over to you. So we have a true and experienced expert here. So might as well use him.
No problem.
Yeah, it's nuts. We have so many weird different things now that these things didn't even exist 10 years ago, and now they're making headlines. It says, party like a spy, Spookstock is Intel words hush, hush, bash. Now, have you ever heard of this, Dex? The Spookstock?
No, this was the first time I heard of it, and I thought it was rather interesting.
It says, sometime earlier this year, one of the most elite social events in Washington took place, but without any fanfare or news coverage. It says it drew about 1,800 attendees, and Grammy-winning rocker Lenny Kravitz performed. Wow, so they had the money. Well, I should say they only had the money for Lenny Kravitz. No offense. I know there's probably some Kravitz-Tavits out here, something like that. I don't know what they call themselves. Yet there were no written invitations, and the actual date and location were carefully guarded secrets. This sounds really weird. So it was like kind of a hush-hush party, right? It says the annual charitable event is mischievously known as Spookstock. Well, many Washington insiders, let alone the public, haven't heard of it. The gala has become a centerpiece for the Capital Region's tight-knit intelligence and military special operations communities. It says, quote, I've done my fair share of formal events and black dress nights. This is a lot more fun, said retired Major General Clay Hutmacher, the former director of operations for U.S. Special Operations Command. He says it's very casual. If you want to show up in a Def Leppard t-shirt, that's fine. Now in its 7th year, Spookstock has raised millions for the CIA Officers Memorial Foundation and the Special Operations Warrior Foundation, which look after the families of CIA officers and Special Operation Forces killed in the field. Last year, after expenses, each charity received about $400,000, according to Spookstock board member Mark Kelton. The event is essentially fueled by defense contractors and mainstays of the military-industrial complex that pay big money for a table or a balcony box. Kelton, a retired CIA officer, would only say that those corporate boxes are, quote, not cheap. Other government employees or members of military who secure an invitation pay a much lower but still undisclosed rate. This, what's weird about this is, one thing I wonder is how much do like the true spy CIA guys actually make? You know what I mean? And do they get like perks? Like if they did an operation where they stole some treasure from another country, like would they get a cut of that? Like I'm sure they've been broken off with some, weird deals. Think about what we do for our, what's that guy? He was getting paid huge sums of money for spying for China, right? Think about what we do for our guys or for the people that spy for us.
A security professional in the CIA salary range is $46,000 to $73,000.
That's not, in Seattle, he would be in a one-bedroom apartment. I don't know. How are they affording this? And are we talking about really, really high up people? And then, I don't know. It sounds...
Special agents go up to 136.
Okay, then you're starting to get into, almost government paid kind of thing. Yeah, I could see that. And they probably have good benefits and all that, including parties where you can wear Def Leppard shirts. WW1 era German grenade found in the Michigan River. This is a weird one. It says a Michigan man using a magnet while fishing in a river made an unusual catch, a German grenade from around World War I. For one, I don't, why was this guy fishing with a magnet? It says, Joseph Alexander said he was fishing in the Grand River near the 6th Street Bridge in Grand Rapids when his magnet pulled up a device later identified by police as a German Granatenwerfer mortar. He says, I thought it looked like a grenade, but not one I've seen before. Alexander told Wood TV, he says, we brought it back home, took some pictures of it, posted it online, and started getting comments that it's a grenade, call the police. So that's what we did. Can you imagine taking photos of it, posting it, and then realizing this is an explosive? That's pretty funny. The Grand Rapids Police Department said that the device is being safely stored and will be detonated using C4. Police said the mortar is not likely very dangerous due to being submerged for a very long period of time, but they're, of course, being cautious with the grenade. Yeah, I don't blame them. Phoenix teen rescued after becoming stuck in chimney. No, not Santa. A Phoenix teenager. It says a teenager has been safely rescued without injury after becoming stuck in a chimney of a Phoenix home. Authorities say that the 17-year-old girl and a friend were locked out of her home Wednesday night and tried to climb in through the chimney on the roof. Firefighters say she became stuck above the chimney's flue and used her phone to call 911 and her sister. Phoenix firefighters were called to the home near 17th Avenue and Baseline Road around 5 p.m. Firefighter says she was inside the chimney for about 45 minutes and remained in contact with rescue personnel. Firefighters climbed onto the roof and were able to lift out the girl who is not identified. So, wow. Okay, first off, nobody should ever do that. I think you can die just being in there. But there's some pretty bad horror stories of people getting stuck in the chimney, burglars getting stuck in the chimney, thinking that they can go down. And yeah, the flue or whatever the thing that flaps, if that's closed, you're kind of screwed, aren't you? I don't know.
Well, where I live, I've never had we have chimneys. I've never seen a flue that was bigger than, like 6 inches or 12 inches. I don't know how you could fit through one of those things.
Exactly.
Maybe an old fashioned, stone chimney or something, maybe, but I couldn't imagine that.
Well, can you imagine going face first or something, or just being stuck there? There was a story like I covered when I first started a couple years ago of the guy, and they found the skeleton. There was a missing guy who worked on the house, and he ended up. They built the house. It was back in the 50s. They built the house. One of the contractors went missing. They never found him. And then essentially they sold the house, and then it got bulldozed. Well, they found his bones in the chimney. So they actually lived from having their house hand built for their family. They lived in the house for 60 years. And then when they sold the house, they tore it down and found this guy. So that family was living with a dead body in their chimney the entire time. And they said that nobody in the family ever used the fireplace. That's just the weirdest thing I've ever heard. But I'm just not shocked by anything anymore. Like, that's just nuts. All right. So if you guys want to help support us, you can go through NordVPN. If you don't have a virtual private network, it is huge. Obviously, all of us now sit on YouTube and do these things online. A lot of us end up spending hours on end right here. Well, if you are opening links, YouTube links especially, or any kind of links in your emails, if you use email a lot, you need to be super careful. Things have gotten better now, but they are most definitely, it's a very scary situation as far as how crooks are getting your information now. NordVPN is a virtual private network that can essentially hide your IP address. It can even place you somewhere else. You can choose where you choose to show up, kind of like picking a area code on a digital phone number. Dex, can you at least give your 10 cents since you're the tech guy?
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at this, Adam, is people are doing these bad people are doing things that they call, we refer to as social engineering. So they engineer a way to get you to give up your IP, give up your location, give up your information. And when you're running something like a VPN, it's one layer of protection that helps you fight against that. So when this man in the middle attack, as they call it, this can prevent you from giving up your IP and then having somebody try to actually infiltrate your home network, infiltrate your computers, infiltrate everything else. So it's imperative if you're online. It's imperative if you're surfing, reading, clicking on links, looking around, researching, which we all do in this community. I mean, we spend a lot of time reading and researching. So I highly recommend. I've been using Nord for a long time, and the other thing is so simple. I mean, it's literally install and push a button, and you're protected. And when you want to turn it off, you can turn it off.
Well, and not only that, you can have it on multiple devices. Again, if you're looking at all these kind of weird things, you definitely want to go to it. Plus, a lot of us go to unsecure sites. If you've ever seen up in the corner when you look at the top, it says unsecure or not secure. That's most of the truther sites. So go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. They are being extremely generous to the Marfoogle family. They're giving up to 84% savings on their largest plans. So again, you should check it out. You can have it up on the 6 devices, and it will help support this channel. Again, we want to earn money to actually turn this into a legitimate service, and we appreciate every penny. Again, you get something out of this, and it helps us at no additional cost to yourself. If you would like to protect yourself and possibly save a life down the road, EMP Shield is something that I believe even if you do not go through us, you need to go through, period. If you have a house, if you have a car, if you have a generator, if you have a bug out plan, if you have a ham radio, if you have an RV, you need to look into this, because what an EMP shield is, is it can actually protect against all 3 phases of an electromagnetic pulse or a coronal mass ejection, or even lightning if you have it installed in your house. It is going to protect you against any EMP, including all phases E1, E2, and E3. This is being used by governments. In fact, EMP Shield is helping our country actually beef up the grid after T-Man essentially got a resilience report saying that we are under some severe threat. So what he ended up doing is signing a order to basically beef up our grid. EMP Shield was mentioned directly by the Homeland Security EMP Resilience Report, and they are actually working alongside to make our country a safer place. Again, this is a huge deal. So even if you don't go through us, please, believe me, go around us if you have to. Get one on your vehicle if you expect to get somewhere after an EMP. Get one on your generator if you expect to have power. This is a safety thing. We try to, if we're going to do affiliate stuff, we want to do stuff that actually helps people, saves lives, or we absolutely know that this is going to be something that is going to be good for everybody. Again, it's no additional cost to you. It's Black Friday sale right now. So on top of the $50 off per device that they're giving the Marfoogle family, they're also doing 15% off for Black Friday. So it is actually one of the biggest discounts they've ever done on it. Again, that you can combine those. So the 15% off on top of all that is a big deal. Go to marfooglenews.com/EMP. You can check these out. They're 100% American-made, veteran-owned business. Absolutely amazing. They have many different devices that cover all sorts of things. Again, if you don't have a vehicle to drive to your bug-out spot, then what good is it? And when you get to your bug-out spot, if your generator doesn't start up, you're not going to have power. So this can protect it, can ground the signal way, way faster than an EMP. So with that being said, we're going to get our calls started. Nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else who helps with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. And if you have not checked out our other channel, Marfoogle News has now hit 146 and soon to hit 147. So thank you guys for all going over there. And then again, Marfoogle TV is actually at 94.6 now. We are so close to 100. Share it with your friends. Throw a baseball with Marfoogle TV on it at their face. Whatever you have to do. Just kidding. Don't do that. Remember, you always have to use your own best judgment about throwing baseball at people's faces. Marfoogle.news, easy way to do it. It will take you right there, or marfoogle.tv. It brings someone you are trying to share it with right to the place. We have a new Creators Corner, which is extremely important. December 10th comes along, new terms of service. January comes along, new sweeps. So if you have a small channel, if you have at least 100 subs and at least 20 videos, doesn't matter if they're whatever they are, 20 videos, you can get into our Creators Corner. We're going to team up with multiple creators, and we are going to start something amazing. So get in there quick before everything goes downhill. Go to marfooglenews.com. That's also where you can go. Exclusive military group. You can find your local state group and prepare with others. There will actually be a little thing at the very end of this show that will explain it all with Chris Radioface explaining the whole thing. Go to marfooglenews.com. Super simple, super easy. Go to the website. If you want to watch a full-length feature film with Amy Smart, Muriel Hemingway, and Deepak Chopra about grounding, the stuff that we believe in and that we affiliate with, make sure to go to marfooglenews.com/GT. You can get a password from our alerts. And then Ground Therapy is the company owned by Clint Ober. The movie is actually based on roughly him and the others that do grounding. Grounding is an amazing thing, and I really can't say it. You know, you can't say stuff without actually talking to somebody else who's done it. This is where I usually ask anybody in chat that's done it for decades and believes in it. say something about it because I believe this is helping people. We have had so many awesome people tell us that their lives have changed to the better. And I don't think people knew when they started it, when they slept on it, or when they used the patches, or when they used the universal pad. I don't think people thought that it was going to have such a huge effect. Another way you can do this, it's totally free. Stand barefoot out in your yard. That is grounding. You're actually grounded with earth. It does make a difference. It is scientifically proven. There's 25 medical studies that back this up. And again, the big guys don't want you to know that. So it improves digestion, sleep, arthritis, inflammation. It's everything. It's awesome. Go to marfooglenews.com/earthing. If you use that code MH, you will get free shipping. Again, that is marfooglenews.com/earthing. And then if you want to support Cars for Heroes, all of our t-shirts, the Marfia shirts, go to charity. Cars for Heroes actually helps out veterans that do not have the ability to get a vehicle. We have done this for, I don't know how, Dex, how long have we been doing this one? For 2 months?
Yeah, just about 2 months now, yeah.
And we don't do 10%, 30%, 50%. 100% of the proceeds from these shirts are going to Cars for Heroes and helping out veterans. So again, we do make sure that we try our best to support our men and women in military, and especially after they get out when they really need it. marfooglenews.com/t-shirts. Bam. All right, let's get our first caller going. It looks like Nick is our first caller. We're going to get the phone systems going here. And Dex, if you want to send him over. Dex, send Nick right over. Nick, you are live on Marfoogle TV. What is going on?
Not much. How about you, man?
Good. I'm great. Happy holidays. Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
Yeah, same to you. How was your Thanksgiving?
I had 3 of them, so I had enough tryptophan to knock me out until today.
Nice.
Now, it says you wanted to talk about China, Russia, South Africa conduct live fire fleet exercise, Ministry of National Defense. What's up with this? You got a link here.
Yes. Hold up. I'm pulling the link up on my end, too. Yes. So the warship fleet involves China, Russia, and South Africa exchanging information in the waters near the port of Cape Town.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Yeah, I pulled the link up from here, too. So, it says on Thursday morning, the drills formation consisting Chinese, Russian, and South African naval vessels changed from a single column to a super upon new information from a South African Navy fragment at Mtola in the water near the port of Cape Town. So this is the first exercise by them in the South Africa, if I remember from hearing it or not.
No, and this is, and I pulled up both articles. Essentially, this is what we called, and I don't know if you guys remembered this. We called it before any outlet, and I will put that on record. If somebody wants to prove me wrong, they can go ahead. If you go back to our show, I got this from my source. They said that China and Russia and other sideline countries were going to do a massive drill, and it was going to be a message.
Yeah.
This was before anybody had it. So if a lot of people in chat said, yep, because you heard it here first. That's one thing I know we actually called. This is a big deal. This is go ahead.
Yes. So I think they're sending a very big message to the Western countries that they're in power. I don't know who they're sending a message to. Probably U.S.
Well, I agree with you.
I don't know.
So now the other one here that we pulled up too. China, Russia, South Africa conduct live fire fleet exercise. Now, what do you think they're going to be doing here? Do you think that we're going to have a conflict here soon?
Yes, in the near future. I don't know. Because my other source says that Russia has already sent troops in Libya. If my source was incorrect or not, I don't know.
Well, is there anything else that you wanted to say before you go, Nick?
Yeah, it's kind of concerning, very concerning. I don't know if, because the U.S. is supposed to send another aircraft carrier down there in the middle ME to guard the Lincoln over there and Gulf. If I remember correctly, if Twitter sources are correct or not. So that's all I say. Kind of concerning.
Well, I completely agree with you on that note. Well, Nick, thank you for calling. And if this is your first time call, I believe, right? Or no,
Time.
You've called before.
Second time.
Okay.
Yep, second.
Well,
Yep.
Please call in again if you catch other things like this.
Yeah.
Please send them in.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt. Adam.
All right. Well, you have a great night, Nick.
You too. Thank
All right.
you.
And make sure you guys, when you call in, if you have speakerphone, if you have the ability, try to take it off speakerphone or anything else, because it was a little bit harder to hear that gentleman. I like Nick's calls. Hello, Snafu Snaps. You are live on Marfoogle TV.
How's it going, Marfoogle TV and fam? Happy holidays, by the way. Adam, hope you had a good one.
I was just full. I ate so much food. Now, Snaps, you got a link here to mysterious tectonic fault zone found off California. What's up with this, dude?
Okay, so we've talked about, and you've covered it so many times, man, about how new technology is going to start coming out. And right now, this article came out just a day ago, I believe, and they have found a new method of finding offshore fault zones that they've never known about, including the dying tectonic plates under Oregon, which relates to the Cascadia zone. And what they're doing is they're using the fiber optic cords out there, the size of like a garden hose, and they're shooting a laser through these cords, which create like thousands of tectonic seismic readings of sorts. They're basically lighting up the ocean floor. And this is a groundbreaking game changer for taking or studying and also kind of determining with the tsunamis or the earthquakes and with the Cascadia. And I just find it very interesting that now they're talking about this and it's coming out. And like I said, we're going to see new technology the more closer we get to stuff happening. And I guess I wanted to bring that to you guys' attention. I thought it was interesting.
Now, I'm going to read this part. Excuse me, guys. It says, these newly spotted wrinkles in Earth crust described in a paper published today in Science are still largely a mystery. We can't say much about their size, shape, or how active they are. Still, the findings show that even in one of the most seismically studied corners of the planet, fault maps of the ocean floor contain gaping holes. That's a big problem, because if we don't know where seafloor faults are, coastal communities are going to be in the dark about any earthquake or tsunami threats that might be present. That's what happened to Japan. They didn't know that there was a fault there. This is exactly what happened. That's exactly what I was talking about. They did not design their buildings to over an 8.6 because they thought they were going way over and preparing, overdoing their security. They weren't. They totally blew it.
Absolutely.
And that's because they didn't know.
Exactly. Just quick. And what's amazing is these cables, apparently, like if you scroll down and read some more of the article or whatever, but these cables that they're using are the same cables that are used under our ocean for our internet, for Twitter, for emails and things like that. And that they're using these to get seismic readings for this. It's pretty incredible. Like, I was like, wow, you know.
Dex, can you pull up? There's a treaty that we had with other countries because they considered it a WMD to control weather and earthquakes. It actually says in that basically we knew how to create earthquakes, we knew how to change weather, cause typhoons and things like that. They admitted to it. They did a treaty against it because we didn't know how to stop it. See, we could start things. And they said they included earthquakes in some of the formal paperwork. So they know how to start earthquakes. If another country was to do something like that, that would be a huge deal.
Right. Game changer at that point, in my opinion. And like I said, I think the technologies of just it's kind of like tornado warnings or hurricane warnings. You know, I think especially if something is naturally happening that they know of, you know, dang straight, they're going to start using that technology to kind of get a head advantage, at least, you know.
Yeah, no, it's a big deal. Well, and Snafu, is there anything else that you wanted to say before you go?
Man, just everyone in here, man, thumbs up, Marfoogle TV, support every one of the creators. We have a lot of YouTube changes coming up, and just be the fam we are, man. Show the love, and thank you for being you, man. Thank you for doing what you do.
Well, thank you so much, and you have a great night, okay?
All right, thanks.
All right, and then Dex, if you could pause the calls for a second. I got to catch up. Here's the environmental modification. Let's see here. Look at this. This is gonna blow some of your minds because this is real. My friend who we got in an argument, and they were like, "Oh, it doesn't exist." Ended up looking it up, and he actually said, no, actually, there not only does it real, they actually had a convention and a treaty against it. It says the Environmental Modification Convention, NMOD, formerly the Convention of Prohibition of Military or Any Other Hostile Use of Environmental Modification Techniques, is an international treaty prohibiting the military or other hostile use of environmental modification techniques having widespread, long-lasting, or severe effects. It opened for signature on 1977 in Geneva and entered into force on October 5th of 1978. The convention bans weather warfare, which is to use the weather modification techniques for the purposes of inducing damage or destruction. It says the Convention on Biological Diversity also bans some forms of weather modification or geoengineering. Many states do not regard this as a complete ban of the use of herbicides in warfare, such as Agent Orange, but it does require a case-by-case consideration. They later on, and this is not the only thing, you can look, if you dig deep on this, you will find that they admitted that they can control earthquakes, they control everything, but they couldn't stop it, right? They could start it, they couldn't stop it. So again, if they couldn't stop it, then they couldn't control it, which turned it into a weapon of mass destruction. That's what they said. So I just wanted to bring that up. Here's the coolest part about this job is that you guys, there's a tiny percentage of you, like even West Virginia Prepared Mind. She said when she first started, she didn't know there was anything else on YouTube. She accidentally started watching because of her grandson or granddaughter was like watching, and it was in the recommended tab, and she started watching, and she said that she only watched mainstream news before this, and she's like, no, and then started doing research, and then every episode started researching all of these little topics we covered. And now she watches every episode along with some of our other mods. And the thing is, the fun part about this is that there's like that 1% or maybe bigger, I don't know, that do watch mainstream, and they're like saying there's no such thing as weather modification. And then they watch this, and then they go do research, and they see the treaties, and I think it's magical. Like, we're opening eyes, even though we're not like hardcore, like digging deep and stabbing into the truth. we're starting you off. This is like the gateway drug for truth. So I'm happy in my place. I'm not here to like beat you up and tell you you're wrong about your theories. I'm just here to start you off on, gaining your own. Okay, I got to say thank you to some people. Thank you guys. There's new subscribers. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Every day that this thing grows, I am super appreciative. I just cannot believe where we are today. Honestly, I thank you guys every single day. Let's see here. I missed some, it looks like yesterday. Wide Awake and Baked. Look in the sky. There's a dark spot. That's it. Conquest says pictures sent to Adam. Got it. Wide Awake in Denver said watch Brian Knight. He captures what's out there. Ilea Love says, I believe these lightning bolts from the sun are erupting solar prominence. It releases plasma similar to CME. Colleen Luce Wilson says, go check out Phil. He has telescope, the right filters, and lenses. You will be shocked. Explains all the heavy plane farts. Shinobi Wan, thank you so much from New Zealand. I appreciate that. Shinobi Wan at mgtoe.tv. Love to the Marfoogle family. Mandy Bronson, thank you so much for your $4 super chat. Boogie Butts, thank you for subscribing, and welcome to the fam. As always, if you subscribe during the show, you will get a shout out. Neil Nelson, thank you for saying Happy Thanksgiving, Adam and Dex. Mods love this song. Conquest, thank you again. Lance Moore says Maui, thank you. I appreciate that. Chi 76. Thank you for following me over on Twitch. Anna Hartley, thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the family. Again, welcome Adam and Boogie Butts. Ryan Winskura Zura from Canada. What's shaking, Foogle Fam? Lil Red, Kansas. Foogle Fam, my favorite fam. Much love to y'all. Central Florida Prepper, what's up? Saw you guys were doing a live earlier. That's awesome with Mr. Snafu, actually. That's funny. Cherry Boo 65 Boone, DJ Marf. Thanks. Donnie Newcomer, Marf, are these your beats? That's talent, homie. Thank you. Amethyst, I don't know why I did that. This is stupid. Amethyst Crystal, thank you. I appreciate that. Looks like Australian. $2 Australian. Mickey the Iron Worker, thank you. $2 I seen it. Says I seen it. I can't remember what we were talking about, so now I'm trying to figure out what he's seen. RE55, great Skywatcher, says, thank you, Adam, aka Marf and Dex J, and all the mods. Much love to the good vibes and the Foogle fam for all you have helped me. For all you that helped me to over 2,000 subscribers. Amazing love mob. I'm humbled and thankful to be a part of the Foogle fam, and God bless. Of course, we love mobbed RE55 and we did a video, and 2,000 people ended up going over. Thank you, RE55. I appreciate that. You know it's not necessary, but thank you. I appreciate it. B&B, thank you so much. Samijos Kitchen, Sammy Joe's Kitchen, thank you for following. Mark Sketch, I'm in the UK and the T was killed, many in hospital and one very critical, so that number sadly could go up. All the locals subdued the man, but many injured due to helping. The guy stabbing, of course. That's horrible, Mark. Seriously, like somebody should have got a long pole and just twacked him right in the head. Brenda Weddle, thank you for following. Welcome to the fam. Janetta LaPierre, welcome. Love your live shows, Marf. Thank you. I love your last name, LaPierre. I just wanted to say it. Let's see. LaPierre. Jeanette Von Hoffman, thank you for following. And on to the next call. Dex, if you want to release a call, thank you guys. I totally got a little bit behind there, 2 hours behind, in fact. So thank you guys for doing that. Thank you guys for your support. I feel blessed every single day. I just pray that we don't get knocked off air or anything like that. And if I did, I have a feeling you guys would get our back, because we are trying to grow this and make, more people part of the team. And I just really appreciate all your support. All right, up next we have John. You are live on Marfoogle TV. What's going on?
Hey, buddy, how are you doing today?
Good. So,
I just wanted to let you know that I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. And
oh, well, I did. Thank you so much. And then you're a first-time caller, and you have information on the USS John C. Stennis and update on Truman. Excuse me.
correct,
Okay, let's hear it.
correct. I'm just gonna kind of throw it out there. My son's on the USS Stennis, and I was talking to him for Thanksgiving. He just came back in from a little small 2-week tour, I guess, down in the Gulf of Mexico area. But I was asking him about because he's got a friend that's on the Abraham Lincoln, and I said, hey, what about your buddy and the Lincoln? He said, well, they're an extended stay in the Gulf because the Truman was on the way to relieve them, and something happened mechanical. And so they're trying to get back to get it fixed before they can finish going out there. But that was when you were talking about that around Mexico. The Truman's out, but it's not back in yet. But the Lincoln has an extended stay. They were only supposed to be there 3 months to fill a gap.
No. Okay, so I pulled it up, and it says something 3 days ago from Stars and Stripes says USS Abraham Lincoln pulls in Bahrain after months in the Arabian Sea. And now it says carrier Lincoln enters Persian Gulf, Truman back at sea. And then your son is on the Stennis, right? Is that correct, John?
Right.
Okay, so he's on the
He just went for a little 2-week jump. Yes.
Okay. But they said that something chemical happened, but nobody talked about it?
Mechanical.
Oh, mechanical. Okay. I thought you said something chemical, and I'm like, oh, weird. Okay. Well, so what do you think? Why do you think that they're staying so long? Do you think that there's something going on over there just from what you've heard or how you heard it? There's probably a delay, I think.
No, it was blatant that they had to stay longer because of like engine issues or trouble, that they weren't up to par to be in the Gulf.
Wow.
So they were going to port somewhere, correct it, and then head out.
Wow. So, yeah, our ships aren't doing that. Because everybody
I was...
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No.
I was in the Navy, and I was an EOD tech.
There's a bad delay. For whatever reason, it hits every once in a while. Don't worry about it. Just keep going.
Okay. I was in the Navy, and I'll attest that they do those repairs underway for the most of everything when that comes about. But by chance, if they ever have to port, they may port somewhere, and they may not have reported on these blogs because they're injured, I guess is the same way to put it. You wouldn't tell somebody when you're sick until after it's already done. So it's kind of like that.
Yep.
And trolling or whatever. But yeah, that's just what he had said last night when I talked to him.
Okay, so John, thank you for calling in. Is there anything else you want to say beforehand? I think that's great information as far as knowing that, anything like that we welcome any day, every day.
Right. I just, me and my wife, she listens to you more than I do. I'm usually busy but I got a few days off here, and I figured we would just watch you on the big screen tonight. And I heard that, and I just thought I'd comment. We're on Discord too, and I didn't know if y'all follow that, or I don't know how that works, but I know that she's on there more than I am. But she's concerned Patriot, and then I'm Navy EOD or Navy Patriot EOD. So, I mean, however, when we're in Oklahoma, so.
Well,
anything I can help with, it'll be great. I appreciate y'all.
John, and what's your wife's name? Can I say hi?
Sherry.
Well, John and Sherry, I just appreciate you guys watching, and especially, taking possibly your night that you might not have too many of together and watching this show. We really appreciate it. We put a lot of time into it. So for the people like you, I honestly and seriously appreciate you. And then your son putting his time and effort and his sacrifice into doing service for our country. I thank you, and I salute your son, and I just want to say that you are appreciated, and our whole Foogle family appreciates you guys, and I hope you keep watching.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
I heard Jerry in the background. Well, thank you, John. You have a great night. You guys both be safe, okay? And have a good one, and please call back again, okay? It's a first-time call. Don't make it your last.
Okay, thanks.
All right, you have a good night. Up next, it looks like we have RTP, Road to Prison.
They may report someone, and they may not have reported on.
All right, Road to Prison, turn off your TV.
You got it, buddy. What's happening, bro?
Good, nothing. You are live on Marfoogle TV.
Oh, glad to be on here. Thanks for taking my call, and happy Thanksgiving to y'all.
So let's see here. I did not see your card yet. We had both you and Snafu on the Snafu prison crew.
There you go. Yeah, my topic is, you were talking about the fertility rates.
Yeah, and it says you followed this issue years ago. What's up with that?
Yeah, I've been following this for a long time because being in Detroit here, the Muslim population has always been really high, within, the area ever since the 70s. And so I've been paying attention to it. And according to the statistics, I'll get right into it. But according to the statistics, the research has proved that a culture can't maintain itself for more than 25 years if the rate, like you said, is under a certain amount, ratio, which is like, statistically speaking, 2.11, kids per family. And it's gotten to the point here in the U.S. where it's big time. But, I'd like to give examples of what's going on around the world, if you don't mind. For like an example, over in France and England and Greece and, all over in Europe, it's, from 1.8, and it goes all the way down to work the lowest in Spain, which is 1.1 children per family, which is, it's not enough to maintain, population at its current rate for the nationalities that are there, the Germans, all of them. They just can't do it anymore. And so, as far as it's dropping in Europe, actually, so no culture historically can ever reverse a ratio of 1.9. The ratio rate of 1.3 is completely impossible to reverse, which Spain is already at 1.1. And these statistics are from 2008. So imagine what the difference is now. You know what I mean?
So, but isn't this something that can be easily fixed just by people having more kids? Like, couldn't we instantly fix this problem, or no? You said we're screwing ourselves.
Well, yeah, the nationalities, the nationalist, like how they say that, if you're from France and you're a Frenchman, you're a nationalist, or if you're from Germany and you're a German, you're a nationalist. Well, those rates cannot be replaced. It's impossible to reverse it after it gets below 1.3. And as it would be at that rate, it would take nearly 80 to 100 years to balance out the population to make it stable at those numbers.
Now, what is stable? Why do they say stable? They say stable, right? Is it a bad thing that there's less people? I mean, just technically, right? Is it a bad thing there's less people?
Well, it's bad to the globalists, to the economy, to the money men, to the people who sell goods and products and things of that nature. The stable number is 2.11, and that's a number that can't be achieved after you drop below 1.3. It takes 80 to 100 years. Bankers aren't going to wait that long. They want that money flow to continue, you know. And it's all a numbers game.
What he's saying though too is, do you know how we read this article, and it says every woman would have to have an average. What was it? Every 1,000 women would have to have 2,100 kids. Isn't that right? That's like where you get the 2.1. But they're in reality having 2 on average, or no, less than 2.
Well, like how you and your wife have 3 children, you know, 2.1. Of course, you can't have 0.11 child. It's just a numbers game, and it's all a numbers game. You know, it's like the opposite. Once the numbers get to a certain point, the numbers decrease. Kind of like the opposite of what the old Vidal Sassoon commercial used to be, where, you know, I told one friend and they told 2 friends, and so on, and then those 2 friends told 2 friends, and it grows, you know, astronomically or exponentially. But when it's on the reverse, it's different.
That was also an STD commercial too, though. You realize that, right?
Right. But once it gets to a certain point, excuse me, and it goes from your grandparents, which is, you know, it's already happened because the numbers, you know, the Census Bureau has been taking numbers in the United States for a long time, and they know what's coming. They've known this, and so it gets to the point where the NGOs are doing the dirty work for the governments to supply a new batch of humans, you know, a highly productive batch of humans, you know, as far as producing children. You know, it goes, it's all about the workforce, and it's all about money, you know, keeping the slaves going and things of that nature. And then, so I'll give you a couple examples, if you don't mind. Like in the Netherlands, 50% of all the newborns, and this was in 2008, 50% of all the newborns were Muslim. And then they say in 15 years in the Netherlands, half of the Netherlands will be a Muslim nation, you know, and it's everywhere in Europe. We've seen the big push with the claim that, you know, the Syrian refugees and then the African refugees, the NGOs were the ones that were pushing these immigration statistics. They were pushing the immigration. There was a big push for it. That's what was happening here when Hillary was running. What was her big platform?
Well, let's try
borders,
try not
right?
to say every filter word on this call.
Well, I apologize. You know, I don't mean to.
No, that's all right.
Like sometimes I feel like I'm just on a phone call with you and not talking on your platform.
You got to do you got to learn the spoonerisms.
Yeah, it's hard to. I apologize.
That's okay.
You know, like here in Canada, let's just get a little closer to home. I could give you stats all day long about Germany. Let's say Germany announced that the population decline can't be stopped over there. It's already too late. And this was 2008. And then they said by 2050, Germany will be a Muslim state. You know, same thing with, you know, a few other countries. And I don't know if you guys remember Muammar Gaddafi, who he was, but he stated, you know, back in the day that the domination of the West won't be through bombs and swords and guns and war and, you know, all the stuff that they do. They just do it through childbirth. And it's already been proven to be true. And then, so if you want to get closer to home, just for an example, in Canada, you know, we've seen all the things in the news about how Canada had the bang bang at that one mosque, and it was a big issue. Well, the people in Canada are seeing what's going on, but from 2001 to 2006, the population growth in Canada was 1.6 million people, and 1.2 million of those people were Muslim.
Okay, well, I understand, you know, but I don't know what the big. I get it. I get it on the Muslim community.
Well, the reason why
you're
that
saying
this is happening
that because I've got maps pulled up here. Essentially, they are taking over big chunks of that culture in all of these different countries.
Well, actually, it's all around the world. It's not just in those certain areas. You know, the Catholic Church has announced that the Muslim belief is, or Islam is taking over the world's religion, which it is. So the point of it is that you see all the push that was going on in Europe from Africa and from the Middle East, and it's not because of the nonsense. Well, it's part with war-torn countries, but it's all a plan. It's all by design. Everything is, and so it's gotten to the point now where even here in the U.S., the numbers aren't so bad because between the population that's already been here and with the Latino community, we're at a 2.11, which is the level that is needed to maintain a population. So they're not really pushing for the open borders at this time just yet. When the time comes, they will. So it's been like that for a long time. And
it's pretty crazy.
In the U.S., well, it is. And in the U.S. in 1970, for an example, the United States only had 100,000 Muslims here. And in 2008, there were over 9 million. So, and people don't understand it, which if you pay attention, we talk about never forget, the September thing, and they talk about it. And then we have, all of these Rashid, the politicians that are of Islam, the Muslim faith, they're penetrating and they're getting into the politics, which this was a plan of theirs, to dominate the Western world. Hell, there was 24 Muslim organizations that met in Chicago years and years ago.
How about let's just say the M right now, because I've taught the Creators Corner too. The percentage of how and it's really sad that we are on a platform that when you say that word 8 times as we have now, that percentage has now taken over the entire video. So that video in the transcript, because they write down every word I'm saying, then their algorithm goes through and it finds 8 of the M words and then 3 of the is words, and then it considers it a high-risk political statement video. So the whole 3-hour video is basically gone from a 5-minute call. So I love you, Road to Prison.
Well, I apologize.
I apologize. Every call, we lose the whole show. So please try to.
I apologize.
We get the M word. Right. The M word is
okay. Well, I won't.
And it's sad that we can't say that word on something that should be family friendly. I mean, it's just a culture description. So.
Well, I understand what you're saying. It's a conversation, but they don't take it that way. I don't mean to do it.
They don't. Apologize. They see it as a code. They see it as a code, right? And they see that percentage. See, people go, well, this guy said. They look at other YouTubers and they say, well, he's got ads. First of all, there's extended ads that essentially that means you don't get suggested. You don't get recommended to new people. The problem the truth community is getting is that we're not getting recommended to the people outside our subscribers. So yes, I mean, if you look at my videos, the same 30,000 people watch every day. It hasn't gone up because we keep getting put in the extended, which means one, we don't, even if there is ads, it's extended. So it's the pennies on the dollar, like T-Man ads that they just put out to everybody. And then also that means you don't get suggested to the new people. What else it does though, is they go, oh, well, that person has, ads for whatever. And he said that word. Well, it's the percentage. They look at everything of how much you're saying. So I'm actually trying to teach people too, how we're doing what we're doing and how we're trying to progress in this. And you're a creator yourself. So one thing I would say is I know you take YouTube seriously. Everybody has to figure out ways to communicate stuff and go around it like we do. But I also have to let people know too publicly because, everybody, we got to do the spoonerisms. We got to do things like this. Otherwise, we will not grow. We put a good 10 to 12 hours into this show a day, and to have a 5-minute period, throw that away. I have to let people know. That's all. But I know this is a big deal. We want to go on D Live and actually talk about this specific subject because I think you're completely right. What is right? What is wrong about this? I know that this is probably a fire debate right now. I bet people are angry over this, like really angry, in all of these countries. If you look at the stats, which it seems like you are incredibly knowledgeable about, I think it scares people too. But I also think people are scared of the M community moving in on people, and now that they're doing the S law everywhere. They're Shah-Ra, and
Right.
they even have a vehicle, an NYPD-like force in New York that looks like NYPD, only its only purpose is to enforce that law, the Mariah.
Yeah.
Mariah law.
The Mariah.
Yes.
Yeah, right. We'll call it Mariah.
So, yeah.
So, it's not something that, I'm just bringing reality to it, and I understand that, like I said, I'm not used to having conversations and doing anyways.
No,
I apologize.
I'm not going to hate on you
but
for being real. I'm not going to hate on you for being real.
I definitely understand what you're saying.
I'm just saying, I know you spend a lot of hours on your YouTube too. They say, oh, they only want to grow. Well, yes, we all want to grow because that's the whole point. We want to reach more people. But you do have to think about everything you say being wrote down. Imagine if it would be a lot easier if every time you did a YouTube video, say you were doing a YouTube video at your house, and there was a woman with glasses literally transcribing everything you're saying. You would think more carefully about what you say. Just think of it that way. There is literally somebody writing down every single word we say, and then if there's a high percentage of a certain word, then that whole video is basically put in a corner. That's how I take it anyway. That's my opinion. So, but no, I didn't mean, I'm not saying to you, I'm saying to everybody. We have over 200 creators. We've helped get to 1,000, including yourself. We're trying to teach this in Creators Corner. We're trying to teach you guys how to do the same thing we're doing. But it's hard. It's hard. We have to filter ourselves, but we can still get that same message out. We can show the word. We can print it up. We can, you just got to learn how to communicate around all of these things.
I hear you, brother. I'm not trying to piss the viewers off. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just bringing facts
dude,
and truth to it.
You're a very smart guy.
People get mad about it. I can't help that they're getting mad because it's reality. Reality is a harsh pill and a bitter pill to swallow, and some people just can't handle that. Besides from the fact that, I'm not, self-contained when it comes to saying or refraining from saying the key words. And again, I apologize, but at the same time, it is reality, and I can't help it, and I'm not saying these things because I'm against the situation. It's a wild situation. I have many friends that are from many parts of the world, and I defend them all the time here in Detroit because I know a lot of people refer to, things that have happened in Dearborn, and the facts that people present aren't accurate whatsoever. And I'm there to defend that situation. The community of Mariahs, and whatever the spoonerism, that needs to be said. The fact of the matter is a lot of people have a misconception of the culture and the people that are in that faith. And I'm the first one to back them up because I know personally have many of friends that are from, certain parts of the country, anyways.
No, I agree with you. I think that too. I think they should at least know what exactly is in all of the books. I hear a lot of comments said, and they're basing it off of somebody else's something that they said, look into it yourself and then be a judge. If you do all the research yourself, then you can say whatever you want. But I hear a lot of people that say things that are just not true about it. And I'm like, you got to at least, if you're going to try to insult something, you got to look it up.
Well, that's the thing is too many people run with what they hear. Matter of fact, my niece is with an Egyptian man. I don't believe that's a key word, but they have a baby together. I have these faith. This faith is in my family. You know what I'm saying? So I'm the last person in the world that is bringing this information to try to make it be a negative connotation. I'm bringing this to people so they understand the impact that this is what's going on around the world. And the world is changing. It's not the world that you and I lived in, and it's not going to be the world that you and I lived in. It's a world that is, changing. Our kids are going to grow up in a different world than we grew up in, and that's just fact. and it's, you know, these things are being taught in the schools. These things are being taught, you know, everywhere. It's everywhere, you know, and until people accept it, you know, I think that if people get mad about this information, maybe they need to look at themselves in the mirror.
Well, I wouldn't worry about one or two people getting mad about it. No matter what we talk about, there's always one or two people mad about it. So, yeah, don't worry about that. I would say that to any creator or anybody out there. Don't care if somebody gets mad about something you say, because that's your opinion, and we all have one. They all stink, and they all smell nice at the same time. Okay, well,
yeah,
hey,
I can finish that, but I'll get out of here.
Road to Prison, you have a great night, okay?
Let me say one thing before I get out of here, is that it's a special person's birthday that you know and that I know, and I would like for everybody to wish that person a happy birthday, and that would be Tony Higginson, a.k.a. Running with Scissors. I want to wish her a very happy birthday if she's watching.
Well, Tony Higginson is by far one of my favorite people in the world. She is, we proclaim together, and she self-proclaimed she is my internet mom. So this show is dedicated to Tony Higginson. You have a great night, okay, Road to Prison?
All right, take it easy, buddy. Right. Sorry for the slips of the tongues.
Oh, don't say sorry. I just got to set it straight. I got to let callers know, because everybody else is going to call in too, and we put a lot of work into this show, and for whatever reason,
I don't mean to mess it up.
That's okay. All right.
I don't mean to mess it up, brother.
You didn't. Don't worry about it, brother. All right. You guys have a good night.
Have a good one. All right.
I gotta let people know. The more we mention, then people know to avoid it. As you guys have seen, many callers call in and they actually avoid it. They go about it, and they've never called before, but they know the kind of the rules. Uh-oh. I just pulled Troy on, and then it hung up on him, Dex. I think it was on his end, though. Let's try to get Troy back on. And then I hope people understand that. This is like, we have to talk about these kind of things somewhere else. Unless it's an emergency. If we do, we can talk about it. We got to put the words up on the screen, but not say them. I think you guys got that by now, but... All right, Troy, you are live on Marfoogle TV. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Marv? How you doing?
Oh, shoot. We got this bad delay, I bet.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Marv? Can you hear me?
Let me try something here.
Hello? Can you hear me now?
Do a Verizon commercial?
Can you hear me, Marv?
Okay, hold on.
Hello?
Okay, we got to...
I'll reconnect him, Adam. Just tell him, and I'll call him right back.
I don't know why the delay is so bad tonight. And that one, he couldn't even hear me at all. Maybe it was super delayed or something. Let's see. Okay, we'll get Troy back on. Ruiner D187 says, thanks, Marf and Marf fam. Happy holidays. Be safe. Be vigilant. Actually, he said be vigilante. Watch your backs and fronts. We are one love. I love it. Ruiner. I am saying that right? The Ruiner D187. Silver Fox. My power company has been out to my house to start preparing to install 5G fiber optics, but not to install 5G power to homes. I'm so confused. So they're there to do the 5G fiber optics, but not to install 5G power to homes. So they're doing the wires, but they're not putting the power through to it. Huh. Maybe it's self-powered like a phone line or something? I don't get that. And then Silver Fox, thank you again, just for the no comment. Troy, can you hear me without the delay?
Adam, I can hear you. Can you hear me without the delay?
Yes. Okay, good. I think we had to start over. It like builds up or something. I don't know what happens. But Troy, thank you for being patient, and I apologize for the disconnection. We got you back on. Now, I've got your card here. It says that you are calling about artificial intelligence and quantum supremacy and timeline intrusion. Calling from Kansas City.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes. This is a little different. I've called in before. I was mostly on sky phenomenon topic there, but this has a little bit more, I guess, woo-woo type of stuff in it. But I've been thinking with all the quantum supremacy and all the AI stuff coming out, and the rate of discovery of technologies and information and all kinds of theories and problems they can propose to the quantum computer and have it figure out, that I believe that the artificial intelligence in the quantum computer is going to figure out certain things about physics and things about time and space that we can barely even comprehend right now, but that quantum computer is going to figure it out. And I noticed I have a video I'd like to share. I heard you the other night talking about how you didn't like the Ouija board thing. It's not quite like a Ouija board, but it's a little bit close, but it kind of illustrates my point of how I believe that somehow that these computers may have already figured out the timeline manipulation, and that might be what some of this Mandela effect is. A lot of what synchronicity is when we experience synchronicity. You know, so it could be the universe. And
what is the video? Did you end up giving the video link to Dex, or did you not know that you could?
I did not give it to him.
That's okay. What do I look up?
I did not.
What do I look up?
It's on my channel. It's on Backass Words Weird World. It's on that channel, and it is I believe it's reverse speech music video reverse speech phenomenon.
By the way, I didn't know this was Backass Weird Words. I know your screen name, and it's like I know you. I know what your comments are. I know you, and then we talk, and you're Troy, and I'm like I don't know Troy. I know Backass Weird. Backass.
Yeah, this is Backass Words Weird World.
Backass Words Weird
World. Yeah, Backass is one word, words is one word, and Weird World is one word.
Okay, this
Backass Word Weird World.
Okay, so what's this video? Which one is it?
Okay, now I want to warn you, because it is a music video, but it's not played in its original form. It's played in reverse. So I just wanted to warn you with that, because I don't want you to have to worry about any kind of infringement or anything. But it's not played in its original form. It is played backwards, and it's got my
well, that's fine. But
commentary on it.
We don't need. What we'll do is we'll link it on our website. We can just play it without the audio. And then which video on this is it?
It is a reverse speech phenomenon music video, and it's got a picture. It's Eminem Yellow Wolf, and it's a video, and it just illustrates. If you were able to see it with the sound, it really illustrates the phenomenon of how the music video almost seems choreographed with the words that I hear as it's being played in reverse. Like there's a lot of phrases that he says in this. It's not 100%. It's my translation of what I hear, so it's somewhat subjective to what the listener may or may not hear. But a lot of the phrases that I've heard and translated in this video are spot on and are unquestionable. Some phrases.
So this is hence where your name came from. Backass Words, Weird Words. Weird.
Yes,
that's a tongue twister.
Yes, originally my channel was a little bit for the paranormal phenomenon, and it was a little bit about ghost boxing and reverse speech analysis, but which actually I have some other videos too. If you can't play that one, there's an EVP analyzer closed captioning test, which what I did there was it was just me running a ghost box device and letting YouTube translate what it thought it heard. And it's just there's a lot of videos there as far as the closed captioning tests go, but if anybody's interested into what YouTube, I mean, I'm just so surprised at what it may not hear. YouTube may not translate what I hear, but it translates a lot of this goobly glop that you know, words that you wouldn't think even would make words sometimes, and it tells a story. And it makes me wonder, why is YouTube artificial intelligence translating because a lot of the translations are apocalyptic almost in some of these translation tests. But you have to turn the closed captioning on and look at it. But it's just, with the with the phenomenon of the reverse speech analysis and the coincidences I've experienced with ghost box phenomenon there and synchronicity itself, I really feel like something is playing with our timeline. I don't know if it's Mother Nature or something out there in the universe that's causing our timeline to have anomalies in it or something, but the amount of synchronicities I've experienced in the past couple of years is just off the charts. And when I do these reverse speech things, sometimes it's almost like there's an attempt at communication that goes on sometimes, like they are literally almost altering the timeline somehow to be able to get phrases to us or get messages across to us somehow. And it's just, it really has me worried about this whole Google supremacy thing and how far it's going to go with the amount of information that this computer is going to be able to figure out. I mean, I've heard they can put every bit of information in the visible universe into this thing, and it's got enough RAM or whatever with the quantum computing to take it all and spit out an answer. I mean, that's just unbelievable what they're going to be able to figure out with this thing. So,
yeah, no, it's very scary. All the things that they're able to do now, and it's changed the way that we're controlled. I mean, we don't even know we're being, guided in a direction. So I get you. Again, if you guys want to check this out, we're gonna link this. We're gonna link Backass Words Weird World. That this channel that the guy talking, we're gonna have on our website, marfooglenews.com. Before this even ends. So, thank you for calling in.
Yeah,
I appreciate you, man. Is there one more thing you want to say before you go?
I appreciate you taking the call. I advise everybody if there's any interest at all in timeline manipulation or apocalyptical writings in the Bible and things like that, to just check out this Eminem Yellow Wolf song on my channel and the translation what I hear, and give me some feedback on that if anybody could. And that's about it. If you want to see some sky video or something that's normal that I would normally have, I do have a pretty good sky video I just posted too. It's
by the way, I think
crown flashing.
I think the reverse speech thing.
My last video.
I think that's cool. I see a lot of there's a lot of sky channels, sky watchers, and which I say keep doing because everybody gets everything different. But the reverse speech stuff, that stuff's fascinating. If you put a effort into that and keep putting out stuff, I bet you that would pick up. That there's a lot of creepy stuff I've seen backwards.
I'm telling you, there is something to it. I mean, I couldn't believe it myself as far as ghost boxing. I mean, I know it really. I worry sometimes because I'm a Christian. I'm a believer in the Bible, and the fascination with that kind of stuff is not really. It's not really something that's advisable, I wouldn't think. And I just kind of stumbled across it and felt that there was purpose there for me, and that's why I kind of still am amazed with it and still do mess with that because I feel there's a purpose there for it. But I really encourage people that have any kind of interest in timeline manipulation and the what ifs of that to check out that video. And I do have some other reverse speech stuff on my channel also. It's early stuff, but appreciate you taking my call. It's definitely something to think about for people though.
Absolutely. Well, you have a great night. Again, Troy from Backass Words Weird World. That is a tongue twister, man.
That's right.
I love it. All right, you have a great night.
Twister.
Be safe, be prepared.
All right, thanks. You too, Marf.
All right, and then again, just you can end up going to marfooglenews.com to see that. You click on, you click on this video, and then caller info will be down here at the end. Okay, and then let's see here. Up next, we have John. John, our second John of the night. I know that there's like a few people that said, did you see his face when he said the second John of the night? Did I just call like what 500 of you said? Okay. Dex, are you pushing over John? John, send John right over.
Yes, I did. And if you don't have him, I'll get him back.
I do not have him. Send another John my way. Oh, I don't know how old that was, but obviously we're unmuted now. Okay. Hello, John. You are live on Marfoogle TV. What's going on?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. So you're a first-time caller, and the economy, how bad it is, and manipulations.
Long-time watcher, first-time caller.
Awesome. John, go ahead. Share your message.
Well, I don't know if any of you guys know this, but for every dollar you have, it's only worth about 2 to 3 cents in reality. The job numbers are all BS. I know it. You know it. Everybody knows it. It's all manipulative. It's and those aren't full-time jobs. Those are part-time jobs. And people don't get any benefits with them. And there's 95 million people that are unemployed that they don't count with the when they do that stuff because they dropped off their unemployment ran out. I mean, people don't realize how bad it really is. I mean, if nobody had food stamps, it'd be worse than the Great Depression right now. I mean, I'm on food stamps.
Well, I know a lot of people are on food stamps that you wouldn't even think about. I was on food stamps at least twice in my life, and my mother was on food stamps up until she died, Section 8, and I never wanted to go down that route because I saw my mother, how she had to live and how she had to kind of budget out her. I mean, they give you nothing. And if they didn't give you that and even that nothing that they give you, if they didn't have that, we would have rioting in the streets. I mean, do you remember last year when we were talking about possibly getting rid of food stamps, or that was the fear, right? During the shutdown?
Oh, yeah.
That was a big deal. I mean, that's scary. That could honestly cause a conflict here on our land.
Oh yeah, I mean the mall where that's near me, there's only 2 stores left. Well, the movie theater and Target, and those are privately owned. Everything else is closed.
Yep.
Everything's closed, and they're
online.
all saying it's about. They're saying it's online sales. And that's, I mean, I understand, there's a lot of, online sales and stuff, but it doesn't make up for all the store closings. I mean, I think it was last month or the month before, they were talking about, there was 500 Pizza Hut stores closing. And they're saying all those stores are going to go to online sales. Do you really think all those people are going to buy pizza online? Does that make any sense to you?
Well, they order pizzas, but there physically has to still be a place that makes the pizzas. It's not like retail where they can get it from a factory. You're not getting your pizza from a factory. Those are shutting down because people are not making the money that they were making off of their businesses, and they are shutting down because the economy is crap. To cover for that, a lot of these things, I believe, are flubbing up the numbers to make it look like, oh, online is killing this and killing that. In reality, it's really rough out there. I mean, I get exactly what you're saying. I've done videos in Fred Meyer. They cut out sales of all these different things. I went into Fred Meyer to get socks, and they legitimately stopped selling socks because they were cutting out the clothes out of that part of the store. And I was just like, wow, you can't even go and get clothes physically in person anymore unless you go to, drive several 100 miles to a mall. I'm like, what the hell is this? I don't get it.
The scariest part of this is, the mark of the bee, right? I know how we have to, talk in it like that, but the mark of the bee, that's already
you can say beast.
Right now.
Mark of the beast. The words that we can say, I like saying. So, I think the mark of the beast is. The beast system is here, and I don't talk much about it, but I think we all know that the Antichrist is like totally growing around us. It's scary.
Mean, the thing is, right, with the food stamp situation, it's get people dependent on a system, and the only thing right now is the only difference is they haven't been shipped yet. We're taking that away. You want to eat, get this. Think about it.
I don't want to. It's a really scary
I don't want to
situation.
either. I mean, it scares the crap out of me. I mean, the thing is, this economy, it should have crashed a long time ago. I mean, when this thing happens, it's not going to be no 1929. It's not going to be no 2008. There's going to be no coming back from this one. Absolutely no coming back from this.
Yeah,
one.
this isn't.
Why do you think they're amping everything up right now?
This isn't the internet bubble. This is, and they're preparing. They're military drilling for other stuff, and some say that they're actually drilling for when the economy collapses, and they're going to have to deal with Americans that have no money, no nothing. Everybody's fighting for food, rioting, all sorts of things, and then we have the ability to fight in the dark, or our military does. So they would have the upper hand on the American people because they could roam and basically take people in the night and put them in certain areas. It's pretty crazy to think about. But if we did a collapse, it would happen.
Everybody's talking about. You know, I mean, geez, I'm thinking all these, all that stuff they're moving across the country. I think it's for their bunkers and that to protect them, because the smart thing for them to do, instead of doing the roundup in that, is just to shut the power off and let 90% of us, die off. And that'd be the easy way out. I mean, they'd still need some of us, but just shut the power off to the whole and say blame it on a solar flare or a double F, and then just
Well, the
you
thing
don't
is,
realize people in nursing homes, people dependent on medication and them, those people, die off first, and then everybody else will be killing each other for a can of beans.
well, water is the big thing. That's the biggest thing. The water is not going to. Nobody's going to be able to sustain when they can't just turn the sink on and get fresh water. It's going to be a big deal, and that will end up being the thing that ends up getting us first. But again, our money system, if you know anything about money, it's all based on, it's literally debt. It comes out as debt. It has to crash sometime unless they find some miracle. There is no miracle to fix it. It's just they keep borrowing on this debt. So,
there's no feasible way to ever pay that back.
Nope.
Ever. And when this happens, all your money, your paper money, it's only going to have two uses: toilet paper and kindling. That's going to be it.
Yep, I agree.
It's going to be worthless.
Well, John, I appreciate you calling, and I'm praying for you. I've been there in your same exact spot. I'm praying for you to come out of that and to
plus my girlfriend just passed last month too, so I'm having a rough time with that.
Well, we're all praying for you now. So you got a lot of friends here in the Foogle Fam. Hop in the Discord, and I guarantee you. And you are in Massachusetts. We have a lot of people in Massachusetts. So I'm not saying, trust me, there's a lot of really awesome people here. No matter what you do, we want to help try to build the thing where, no matter what your level of work needs are, we want to help people find jobs and little things like that with each other. So we did put a Discord room where you can post, say if you are a handyman or if you're looking for work or asking for work, something like that. Maybe some side jobs or something like that, you don't have to tell Uncle about. So
I just got two more quick things. Check out the channel Jeremiah Babe. He's really good talking about how bad the economy is. It's Jeremiah Babe.
Okay, I'll pull it up. No problem.
And then, to all your listeners, because, a little bit of just a heads up, who knows what they're going to, do next month with the YouTube situation thing. So I'd advise them to, if you need to, watch videos on, how to, boil water or anything like that, to start fires, watch them while it's still up, because who knows what they're going to do. And get your stuff while you can with your Monopoly money when it's still worth what they say it's worth. Because when this happens, it's going to be bad. Look at Black Friday. People are going nuts just to save a few bucks on convenient and entertainment items. People will be killing each other over a can of beans. And Prepper Nurse One always says, when the crap hits the fan, what you have is what you have, because by then it's going to be too late to go to the store.
I completely agree with you. And Prepper Nurse One is a good friend of mine, and that Ed is really an amazing guy. So I pulled up Jeremiah Babe. We can actually link this on our website afterwards. So I appreciate you calling in, John, and I hope you call in again, okay?
Yeah, God bless you, and have a good day.
All right, you too. God bless. All right, let's see. Dex, I've never heard of Jeremiah Babe, but I feel like I've seen him before. And then, yeah, it looks like he's got a lot of subjects that I've actually been looking into for the last 2-3 months. I mean, I've looked into them for 2 years, but I mean specific ones. Slab City Sadness, U.S. manufacturing crisis, all these things that I've been looking up and researching, and I've never caught him. So obviously he's doing something right. If he's not found,
I've got him linked on the site already.
When you look specifically. Okay, and then what we're talking about is right here. I'm going to refresh this. What you're going to see is absolutely amazing. This is a live show. It's 11:33 p.m., 11/29/2019, and I did point out there was 3,333 people, and it is now the 333rd day of the year. Yeah, that's crazy. This is the caller info. Nick, Snafu Snaps, John, Road to Prison with a link to his channel. Again, John was the only person that did not have a channel. John, How Bad It Is in Manipulation, Jeremiah Babe. And we might even, let's put Prepper Nurse 1 on there too, just for the heck of it. So that's there. You can go back to this and reference those channels, their calls. If you're watching a replay of this, you can actually go right now with a second device and pull up their channels and subscribe or do whatever you feel like doing. I appreciate each and every one of you. Dex, thank you so much. It was awesome calls tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Adam. Hey, I did have a shout, not a shout out, but another tidbit of information. Somebody from the fam said there was a huge explosion in central Illinois, and they've had a blackout for over 2 hours, and there's no explanation yet. So I have not researched this. I have not found anything on it. It might be out there, but that's just being reported. I thought I'd share that before we wrapped up the
Illinois explosion. Whoops, it actually picked up yours. Illinois explosion. May 3rd, May 4th. Body found 2 days ago. Explosive. Okay, so by the way, that's NPR Illinois is talking about the Texas chemical plant. Do you realize this would be another explosion in these areas? We've had all these chemical plants blow up. What if this is something from space? Like what happened with Tianjin. I think that was one of the first tests of DEW or something like it. So we will actually keep you guys updated. In fact, if in the next hour or so we have information on that, we can try to put that on the website. Otherwise, I would just say look for our next show. We will most likely have that updated and let you know about the Illinois explosion if it is indeed a Illinois explosion. Dex, thank you so much for getting that information to our attention, especially before the end. Boom. Mandy Bronson, thank you. Appreciate that. M. Dennis, have you done a show on the Real ID? I've talked about it. Basically, half of one of my shows was all about Real ID, talking about the Aadhaar card then in India, and talking about one one other system that they did, the social credit score. Susan Donahue, get prepped up, get prayed up, put on the full armor of God. Thank you so much, Susan. Appreciate that so much. Wouldn't be a show without a get prepped up, get prayed up. Let's see. Jason Frazier, thank you for following. I appreciate that. As always, if you subscribe during the show, you will get a shout out. P8 Michigander says, the great delusion of revelation from Weird Words World Call. Think about it, people. The great delusion of revelation from Weird Words World Call. Think about it, people. I'm going to still, I guess I'm a little burnt. Clay Donnell. Hi, Adam. Much love and appreciation for all you do. Happy holidays to you and family and all the Foogle family, too. All right, you guys. Well, one thing is for sure. Today was a great show. All great callers. All great people. Again, I just thank all of you guys for calling in. We had just so many amazing things talked about today. Even if we don't go deep into them, we started off. And I can't tell you how many times I've gone from this show, straight from hosting it, and I find somebody great, like Jeremiah Babe or somebody like this, and then all of a sudden I start, looking their stuff up. Somebody like Jeremiah Babe, I would love to have him on the show, So I appreciate this and learning every day from you guys. It's amazing, seriously. With that being said, it is now time for me to officially make a fool out of myself. It's where I basically off the top of the head say all of your names to a beat and embarrass the hell out of the physical beings sitting right here. It's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro. We will be not right back until tomorrow. We will see you. Much love. Be safe. Be prepared. And Marf out. For being here. Cellar Door 33, thank you for being here. Poppy Chulo, Vin, Key Maxim, Brian Knight, Morona, Jules, and All Rider, thank you for being here. It wouldn't be a show without you. Cockadouble, I appreciate it. Lorraine Blumgren, I appreciate it. Guns and Water. Guns N' Roses, Fatty McButterpants, Connie White, and Slappy. I just wanna go with my lazy tongue. It's no scary, man, well, and walking down to the Texas and it made us stop. Marfoogle Family, Patrick Lee, and Sherry C, George Finestra, Brian Knight, Linda Kaz, and Always Right, Alicia James, and Rah-Rah, Lorna Charlie, Brandon Tawatata, Rebecca Fisher, Letitia Stowe. I'm about to walk down to the bowl. Give me a Debbie Borba, and is that Richard Borba's honey wife or a sister? Thank you, Mrs. Wood Twister, Teresa K, and Catherine D. J. Cooper, it will change in a minute. See, hey, negotiator, I want to get you later. Hey, Angela W, wanna go back with Matt Hunziker? TV. Marfoogle. We've got Marfoogle. Don't you want everyone that you see? And they've gotta be with me. We've gotta be all so full of love, and you know it's all about me. I say yes to conquest. Tattoos by Trudy and 8 years. Richard Ball by Linda Hernandez. Manuela Wachter. I've gotta see the doctor. 4 Siamese for me, playing with it. Everybody gotta go with John Vinstra. Rose Vanessa, refilling that cup with the happy birthday Tony, and the chasing life in honey. Joe Dad, a rainbow snowfall, gotta bring it down and know that we've gotta go now. I'm just gonna go walk back down. If I've got that MG and that JoJo, I like me for me, then the Mark DEX and that C and the sweet rims and that just is Marie. I've gotta go see Mr. Johnson, gotta be Einstein's mama, Sammy Lee, McMillan, Ma, you and the fam, amazing. My husband and I never miss a show, working on another kiddo. Whoa, during the show? Whatever floats your boat. Whatever floats your boat. Working on a kiddo during the show is okay. Just make sure that my other ones are all asleep. What do you do? No. XOXOs. Gonna bring it home. I just wanna say hello, 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 hello. I just want that sherry and gateway drug to the drug. It's so delayed, they say. Me 5 minutes later, be because I for my eye, or for high now with lie. Kathy, Pina. And my Glenda Snyder. Mr. Johnson and Teresa K. Got that X-Con on that bag. Trinity red pill or blue pill, I cope from a tough rock, yeah. The crazy Mexican. If it wasn't for people like Lisa R. Hall, Susie Q, Peggy Sue, Frary, Rebo Snarfle, and Linda Kirby, and Bully for Me, and Spud Ruckus, then I wouldn't be here. One God, Michelle Cinnamon, bring it in now, they got to go. Show 'em the fish, Oliver Twist, gotta bring it, they bitch about the able body. It's all about the love that we give each other, push each other up and never forget what we're here for. We here for a short time, and some of us won't be here for long, so let's give all the love in the world to the people sitting next to us.
J-Stones, got Christy, Natalie Haas, got Salvador 33s, got Suzuki and me, got your Nana. Got your Roger Cunningham, Deborah Hall, and the Matt Hunziker. Go, I never been sicker. When I don't got love, I got nothing at all. I got nothing at all.
Make sure if you want to go and do something absolutely awesome, go to marfooglenews.com and join one of the groups, including your state groups. It's absolutely amazing to be amazing together. Whoa there, buddies. Some sort of TikTok in the background.
Cherry bone, bring it all down. I just wanna see you fly on by, bring it down on my side. All of the places, give me the list. I'm about to make it best. Everybody really wanna revo snuffle. Nobody wants to feel so awful. I've got to bring my Eric Letterman. I just wanna go and see you bending, sweet P11. And my gentle pattern. I've got my J-Stone 78 and my Nuki Dookie, Snafu Snaps and my Cherry Boom Boom. Oh yes, kid 65, Foogle Renee, Tommy's by my side with the Paulette, Olivera, and my Jana, Led Zeppelin. On the whole year, gotta bring it whack with the back, and we never whack now with the jam, and the mat. Unzicker got it sicker, and I never got the Suzy Q. Where I'm a Marfoogle Gill with the Sue, and then now I got my JoJo. I like me for me, oh so pleased with the happy emoji right by my side, and I never know me until it will change in a minute, like the beat and the Kim Walter and Spud Ruggers is gonna say thank you. Gotta bring it back with the Mandela Wachter. I always wanna go to the doctor after seeing Mr. Dave Albert, Leila, and me Rona. Talking about me Rona, Madonna, canceling the show cause she got that marijuana that is, Eric Elliott is, all with the justice, re-ranking, in the gospel, Trinity Red Pill, on the blue pill, high ho, coming the frog here. Blah, 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 say my name in the Jules 44 with a triple Z and the chastity by my hide.
Nope, I don't do it. I don't do it. I bring it back. You know what I mean?
Like they say, gotta bring it back now. They tell me, gotta ping a ling ding. Emma James Hand, is she with the Roger service? EO, wish I was high and a well. Gotta bring it back. Sherry Bruce Swell, gotta do everything now. They tell. 7-3. Ghost hangs out with Franklin Slash and a Stacy. Hey, Stacy from Texas, one got from Mexico. Gotta go to get my homie that is Mexican. The crazy Mexican, Debbie a Borba. Gotta go absorb her, Rabbi from Florida. I'm about to bring you back to the Lord. Go and gotta go to prayer. Walking on 55, gotta bring it back. Oh no, to the veil, bring it right back, and you know they're getting in. Lead the way, bring water in the sewer style. Wanna bring it and they act like they all hard.
And make sure to go to marfooglenews.com if you want to see any of the articles that we showed here today. I wonder what this one does. What does this button do? DVD emoji, I'm surprised it didn't get you. The Caustic and the J Merritt, thank you for being here. And the Carol Quonstrom, gotta go off the top of the Mindstorm. And the JJ, I like me for me, Manuela Wachter. I don't know if it is Proctor, don't know if I say it right. Don't know if I say it right. Gotta bring it home and I know it's free. Gotta go back and you know it's me. It's that MARFOOGLE. Hey, quit tripping, we all good now. Now if we've seen the same thing over and over, I've got to bring the same back to you. Linda Turner, don't you say those things to me. Don't you see that them jewels with them triple Z's? Gotta bring that Patty W to RBC. We're gonna see and we go eat us some sushi. Mark sketch, get yourself some stuff and noodles, man, that's cash. Gonna bring it back and now we on a break. They don't know what the words we be saying, because sometimes I'm not even words at all. Yeah, Road to Prison, it's called advice. It's not called hate. We all love yeah here, buddy. Hey, J. Crystal, Temper Cloud. Got you go and got you fine. Rosewood Mesa, bring it back. You're the best of going back. All burn with love, man. Got to bring
want to get there. Doesn't really matter to me. Eat the time, you know, no. You know what time it is. It's 104.5 Funk him off now, man. If you hear by yourself, then you go ahead and you say hello to somebody new. Okay, yes. Yeah. Everybody raise your hand if you're new here. Well, okay. We can't see you raise your hand, but you can go like this digitally. Yeah, man. Because we want you all to be welcomed. Like Vinicio Patacio, V-Rock Spit. Night Adam Foogle Fam earlier, he said Jerry Springer, I think you meant Maury Povich, he was the baby mama drama king. Got the Jerry Springer and we got to go quick. I want to go quick with the Donna Lovers if it's risky. Oh, so risky. Want to bring the love of the Jamaicans. Calm down now when we do it now. Gotta dance like a nun when she left that nun shit. What he said? Time to go to bed, it will change in a minute. Bring it right back now, we get all up in it. Like, it's a hot dog. I like a hot dog. A rubber dog. Okay. Robin M just said she was new. Lies, lies, and more lies. Robin M, you've been here longer than anybody, especially better and longer than the Marcus Morning Monologue. Marcus Morning Monologue. I'm gonna perform a monologue on tomorrow's show. You see or no? Giorgio, I like me, I like Giorgio. Desmond Damasco, Damaske. Got them Desmond Damasco, yeah. Oh, oh, oh. Whoa, whoa,
yeah, man. We be John, man. Me and 10 Star Productions. 10 Star Productions gotta get in abductions done now. You gotta breathe, Nevada. Get that bada, bring that bing with the big bing, bada bing, love it. Like an Irish ninja, tree doctor, like a K. Rosnick. Rosnick, not that Commodore, or that other guy. Kaepernick, Tiffany Rice, half as nice, just kidding, oh, it's alright. Linda Snyder, bringing that rider, like Phil Billy, and I'm oh so silly. You know what time it is? It's time to get funky. Funky monkey, like Alfred Phillips, man.
I've always wondered. Each and every one of you. Krista Stotch, Angel Bardo, thank you for saying you love it. Because I never know. I really don't. Hey, Mark's get generated in the gospel. Jojo, I like me for me. I've got to see that one to God. Gonna bring it right back now. I'm done. Thinking like this, it's a Foogle Family. I'm reading like I've never ever seen. That snap for snaps, L.O. Mac, Mac to Mac, and that back to back. Able body in the Glenda Turner, Sue Sebo in the blender burner. I'm about to bring it back now, Journer. I'm gonna go back and assure her. KM with the J Merritt, all in the G and the guns of water. Gonna bring it with the R Dream Time Wizard and the Wiz Arden with the Arner. I'm about to bring it back, you got 4 means for me, CJ Blake, BLAZENA. About to bring it to Linda Ray, Linda Cass and that spaz fast. Gonna bring it back and we bring it back. Cameron Dixon and Kelly Josie, bring it right back from the Foogle Family. That baby, oh yes you know it. Baby snuff and off. Got that frog and got that emoji. Gotta go back round and don't you show me. Fire, 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 gotta go and love it, mate. I'm about to be in a Maya. Don't your face off like it's made a hugging dogs. Like it's that last of them hot dogs. It's a kamikaze holocaust, draws. Till I nod off with my sawed off. Never go back, pop off with my Alpha Phillips and my Christina Leha.
Yeah, teach Foogle how we're gonna go. Hey now, got a Sandy Nolan, gonna bring it back now like the car stolen. Francisco Bandera, also scary. Matt Unzicker and a Mr. Bearer. I am smarter than your average bearer and I never really care. Step for steps, busting it tonight. You see it there, like Susan Wilson is love. Tiffany Ross and aliens gonna bring you back.
Now you bring it down. Budget rules and the tree doctor. It's never proper. Foogle's rock and we go with the knocker, knocker, and we run. Leave a poop on your porch, but we never do it, never did it. Why do my shoes sting?
Too much fun here, kids. I gotta go to sleep. I hope you guys all had a wonderful night, and if you feel like supporting the show, please do. We are trying to expand. I'm trying to bring more people on. Thank you. I love you guys very much. And I pray for each and every one of you every night, and I mean that. God bless you, and West Coast people, please be aware of the earthquakes. Good night.
You want to know what's going on? What's really going on when it happens? Go to MarFoogleNews.com and get Marfoogle alerts along with a Discord invitation where you can find your local state group and get together with the Foogle Fam. You'll find fast friends where you'll share prep and intel, and there's even special groups for former and current military. But don't try and steal the valor of those who have really served. It won't go well for you. The Marfoogle Fam is waiting for you.